Sorry, guys, I'm running a little late. Sorry about that. I was just trying to refresh on this case because I had done a video. I should link it. I'll link it down there when this is over. A few years ago, talking about this case, and I knew I had a feeling there was something suspicious. How's everybody doing? I don't even know who's all here. Crash Landing, what's up? This is crazy. I didn't expect her to get arrested. Like I just expected. And yes, Jasmine, we are going to go through the arrest documents, but I have some videos to play first. I just want to kind of give people a summary of the whole case because maybe people haven't heard of it. It's pretty crazy. It was in 2016. Who hasn't heard of the Sherri Papini case? It's been talked about. Like I said, I did a video on it. And I always thought something was fishy the way it all happened. Just very weird. Zeke's gonna make an appearance here in a little bit too. So, and I'm gonna do a video after this, guys. We're gonna do a video later, so come back at whenever we get done with this. I'll probably eat a quick little snack or dinner, and then I'm gonna go and we're gonna watch the NK interview together and talk about it. Little reaction video after this. But okay, so that's what I was planning on doing. But then I just heard about this Sherri Papini, thanks to Diana Wright. Thank you. Okay, so who hasn't heard of this case? I haven't heard. Okay, so let me just kind of go like a quick little summary. I'm going to play a couple of the videos. I'm going to play the 911 call her husband made. I'm going to play the video surveillance of her when she got like let loose like at 4:30 in the morning on Thanksgiving morning. Remember, that's when supposedly they let her loose. So, okay, so this was November 2nd, 2016 is when this kidnapping took place, okay? It's in Redding, California. So I guess at 6:50 a.m., her husband Keith was going to work, right? So he kisses her bye. He goes to work. They have 2 kids at the time. Tyler's 4, Violet's 2. So they have a son and a daughter at the time, okay? So he's ready to go to work. Yeah, he kisses her at the door. He leaves. So he returns from work. He notices the car's still in the driveway. Seems like a normal day. He walks in the house. He said normally he's greeted by them. They give him a kiss, but the house is empty, right? So he goes outside, checks outside, and then he gets on that "Where's my phone" app or whatever to see where her phone was, right? Well, her phone was by the mailbox. It showed it was by the mailbox, right? So he goes out there and he ends up finding her phone in the grass kind of by the road here. Actually, I just took some screenshots. I'll show you the picture of the phone where he finds it. It has like the actually, let me show you a couple pictures of her and him too so you guys can get a visual because I guess not all you guys are familiar, right? Well, it is on the thumbnail though. Let me just send this to me, the picture of the phone. And then like I said, I have some videos too, and we're gonna read the arrest documents. So she just got arrested yesterday. Okay, so yeah, he sees her phone out by the road, right? Yeah, let me get my email up. Sorry, and it was in the grass. Actually, it was laying on top. The headphones was laying on top, and there was like a strand of hair in it. I have to wait for the email to come. Oh, I have to send it. It didn't send. There we go. Okay, and so he calls the cops. Right? And then he also calls the daycare where she dropped off the kids to see if, hey, did Sherri pick up the kids from daycare? And she hadn't picked them up, so the kids were safe at daycare. So we're gonna listen to the 911 call. I don't know what order to do this in because maybe as I'm telling the story, we should listen to it, right? Hold on, I got the 911 call. Why isn't that sending? Hold on a second. Let me just send one at a time then. I'll show you it's a very interesting story, guys. I mean, I just can't believe it. I mean, I thought there was a good chance she was lying, but I didn't think that they would actually have arrested her. Like, I didn't think they were gonna catch it and like that they were actually investigating it, you know? But I'm glad because think about how much money they spent. They had a search looking for her. They ended up finding her 22 days later. She got released and she had this crazy story of what happened to her, right? But we'll get there. Let me just tell the story in order. Let's listen to the 911 call. I think we should do it this way so that people that don't know about it. So let's listen to this. So he finds her phone. He calls 911. Let's listen to the call and then we'll go from there, okay? Or actually, good, the email with the phone just came on. So let me let me, because I sent them to myself. Okay, let me just show you the pictures of the phone, and then, I mean, I guess it's not that big of a deal, but it'll tell a better story, right? Okay. All right, share my screen. So here's the pictures of the phone. Well, that's the blown up one. Hold on. That one's big. Let's go. Okay, so this is the phone with her little, so you can see there's a strand of hair. So now that we know this was all freaking staged, she staged it, which I swear, everybody kind of was suspicious on that. Oh shoot, that's for my next video. Okay, so look, so that's where he found the phone. Now let's listen to the 911 call that he made after he notices his wife's gone. Okay. Like I said, we are gonna go through the arrest documents too. But some of you guys maybe just even need to even though some of you guys might have heard of this case or know the case, it's good to get reminded of it. You know, all the details. I feel like. Okay, so 911 call. Here we go. Sorry, Zeke's gonna be. So here it is.
911. What is your emergency? CHP transfer. Chief is on the line. Hello, can I help you?
Hello? Yeah, so I just got home from work, and my wife wasn't there, which is unusual, and my kids should have been there by now from, like, daycare. So I was like, oh, maybe she went on a walk. I couldn't find her, so I called the daycare to see what time she picked up the kids. The kids were never picked up, so I got freaked out, so I hit, like, the Find My iPhone app thing, and it said that it showed her phone, like, at our end of our driveway. We don't have really good service.
Okay.
Not the end of our driveway, but the end of our street. So I just drove down there, and I saw her phone with her headphones because she started running again. And I found her phone, and it's got, like, hair ripped out of it, like, in the headphones. So I'm, like, totally freaking out, thinking, like, somebody, grabbed her.
Okay, what's your address?
Redding.
Okay, what's your last name?
Yes. Papini, P-A-P-I-N-I.
And your first name?
Keith.
K-E-I-T-H?
Yes.
Okay. Did you go pick up your children?
No, I'm going to call my mom and have her do it.
Okay. What's your wife's name?
I'm going to, like, knock on every door. Sherri, S-H-E-R-R-I.
And same last name?
Yes.
She white, female?
Yes.
What's her date of birth?
It is June 11th, 1982.
Is her vehicle there, or does she not have a vehicle?
She has a vehicle that's at the house.
Okay, the vehicle is at the house?
She's running.
How? Okay.
Yes, I'm in it right now driving, and I took a picture of her phone on the ground before I picked it up.
Okay, how tall is she?
5'3", 5'4".
How much does she weigh?
100 pounds.
Eye color?
Like a bluish blue.
Okay, hair color?
Blonde.
Do you know what she was wearing? Is there
No
something
idea.
she always wears?
I'm assuming she went running, so
Okay,
probably running athletic type clothes.
Okay, there's not an outfit she always wears or anything like that. Does she run with a dog or by herself?
By herself.
Okay. What time were the kids?
She just started running again, and we live in a.
When's the last time?
Superman.
When's the last time you heard from her?
She sent me a text asking me if I was coming home for lunch.
What time was
got
that?
A whole bunch of mixed. Give me 1 second. She sent me a text at 10:47 asking me if I was coming home from lunch from work. And I said, sorry, long day. And that was the last. Never spoke to her on the phone, never any other contact.
Okay, and what time are the kids supposed to be picked up?
Way before 5:30. She usually goes at like 4:45.
Okay.
4:30, 4:45.
Okay, are you headed back to the house, or where are you at right now?
I'm at the end of the driveway where I'm at the Old Oregon Trail and Sunrise where they meet, because that's right where I found her phone on the ground. You're telling me that something happened to her is the way I'm looking at it. Then there was hair like in the headphones. Like it got ripped off, or like the gravel.
Yeah, no, I understand. I understand.
Okay, I'm sorry. I know
It's
you're
okay.
trying to keep me calm, but obviously.
Yeah. What kind of vehicle are you in?
I'm in a black Kia Optima. Oh my God.
Okay.
And we live down kind of a sketchy street, so I definitely, I don't know if I'm allowed to knock on everybody's door, but I will if I'm allowed to do that.
Well, let's just have the officers contact you so they can start, processing everything, figure out what's going on, okay? And I understand you're freaking out a little bit. We want to make sure we get your kids, make sure they're okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna call my mom and have her.
Yeah, they've been stuck at this. Your phone number.
Yes. Do you want me to wait right here for somebody, or?
If you want to head back to your residence so they can contact you there, and in case she does return.
Okay.
Okay. We'll have them contact you at your residence. Call us back if anything changes, all right?
All right, so they're going to call the number you just took down, the 355?
They'll probably call you when they're on their way, and they're going to come out in person.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so that was the 911 call. Thanks for the super chat, guys, and thanks for everybody coming in. Okay, so yeah, she's 34 years old. They married in 2009. Supposedly, like, it seemed like the perfect wedding, of course. We learned even after this kidnapping that it wasn't so perfect. She had a boyfriend on the side, which we'll talk about a little bit more here in a little bit. Which he was from Michigan, but he was in California like a couple days before this all happened. So that's why a lot of people were suspicious. And then there was a thing that happened that her dad came out. Oh God, I wish he would stop barking, but he's so cute. I can't even be mad. In 2000, she vandalized her parents' home. And then a couple years later, so that's when she was about 17 years old. A couple of years later, she started hurting herself and blaming her mom, saying that it was her mom that was hurting her. So she's messed up. Okay, so she comes back, right? She gets released. She has this crazy story. So let me just play you the surveillance footage. So 22 days later, Keith gets a phone call from the police station. Hey, we have your wife here. Hey, I love you. She gets on the phone. I love you. Blah, blah, blah. So let's watch the surveillance. This is when right before somebody had seen her, because she got released on the highway. I'll tell you a little bit about what she said in a minute. But let's play the surveillance first. So yeah, she gets released on the side of the highway, and the surveillance picks her up in this parking lot real quick. So let me play that real quick. All right. Okay, so you have to look really close. I did a video, I think, where there she is. You see her coming from the left side. She's running. This was like in the back, I think, of the church parking lot. You guys see her, right? I hope you could see her running. So that picks her up. This is Thanksgiving, really early morning at like 4:30 in the morning is when she got. Oh, thanks, Spurs girl. Thank you. You guys, thank you for all the super chats. You guys are awesome. I wish I can't show you because the way I'm sharing this, I can't show you my pointer where she's at, but I'm sure you guys saw, right? And I think you'll see her again, right? If I'm remembering. Let's just wait because I haven't watched this in forever. But there's a reason it's only halfway over because I think she comes back up. Because she tries to go in that door and it's locked. She tries to go in that church building. I think it's a church building. So she tries to go in and it's locked. So I think she comes back up, right? So you saw her running though from this way. She's running from the street into the parking lot. I'll play the beginning again once I see if she comes back up. I can't remember. Like I said, it's been like there she is. Yeah. So she's coming back up. You guys see that, right? Hopefully you guys are able to make it out. She's coming back up this way now from the left of the screen over. So at the beginning, she's from the right of the screen over. And now she's going back out towards the highway. And a lady ends up, oh, thanks, Canas. A lady driving ends up pulling over and calling 911 for her because she sees this lady all bruised and has chains, zip ties on her. And basically, so she was gone for 22 days. Okay, I'm going to play this again while I'm talking. You'll see her coming from the right screen. You see? Okay, so she says she was zip tied, chained up. It was 2 Mexican women. I have them on the thumbnail. She had described them, yet she didn't see them, right? So I don't know how she described them because she said they had a bag over her head and she never seen them, but yet she was able to describe them. Does anybody remember how she was able to describe them if she never saw them? So supposedly she was out running. They grab her. I think it was in a van. They had, I'm pretty sure they had a bag over her head the whole time, right? So they had her chained up. I guess she lost 15% of her body weight. They cut her hair. She had bruises. They branded her. And what else? They beat her, burned her, basically branding. And they restrained her. So yeah, she had restraints around her waist, and then her hands were kind of like restrained to the waist chain, supposedly. But I know she said something about zip ties. And what else do I want to say before? Yeah, I guess that's all. That pretty much says everything. So there was a lot of money spent on her recovery, PTSD, on the search and everything. So she costed like the state, and she costed them like so much money. And so they didn't let it go. I didn't think they were like even looking into it, but I'm glad they didn't let it go. And they must have been looking into it this whole time, thinking something's not right. And yeah, they got her, guys. Okay, so let's go over now the new stuff. Just want to make sure, because I just took like some quick notes. I think I have. Oh yeah, that's what she said. So they had a bag over her head when they were releasing her. So they have her in the car or a van or whatever they were driving. They have a bag over their head. They basically I don't even know if they stopped. They probably stopped real quick. They cut her restraints, and then I don't know if they took the bag over her head or whatever and pushed her out of the car. That's how they released her. So, nobody would know who they were and just let her go. So after 22 days, they capture her. It just didn't make sense. Why did they even take her? They just take her. They don't ask for ransom. They don't ask for anything. They take her, and then they just let her go 22 days later. 2 Mexican women. Like, what? Well, what's the point of that? That's why nothing. It just didn't seem right. Okay. So let's look at the documents. I was gonna play, actually, let me play one news clip because it has a couple interviews. It's only like 4 minutes long. It's pretty interesting. Diana sent me it. It's pretty good. And then we'll go through the court documents. Is that all right, guys? All right, 1 second. Because the more visual stuff, it just helps kind of tell the story, because some people aren't even familiar with it, they said. So which one? I forget which one was really good. No, it wasn't that. It was either. Is it this one? Man, I forget which one I was. Hold on. Is it this one? Yeah, it's this one. Okay. Let's watch this real quick.
Tonight, shocking developments in the Sherri Papini kidnapping investigation. She was reported missing in Redding back in November 2016. 3 weeks later, she was found beaten on the side of I-5 in Yolo County. But just hours ago, this story took a major turn. Papini is now behind bars tonight. ABC 10's Van Tu explains.
It seemed like the end of a living nightmare when Sherri Papini was found bound and bruised here on this rural woodland road on Thanksgiving Day in 2016 after weeks gone missing. But investigators now confirm that story was made up. Then 34 years old, Sherri Papini made national headlines when the missing mother, who sparked fervor at search parties, made a miraculous return, telling investigators she was kidnapped at gunpoint by 2 Mexican women.
Suspect number 2 was the older of the 2 suspects.
They branded her. So I just wanted to see her, so I just ran past everybody and I throw open the curtain, and she was there.
This was her husband, Keith Papini, overcome with emotion, breaking his silence to ABC's 2020 after his wife's sensational homecoming in 2016. But investigators now say she branded herself. The anguish his wife put him through, all a lie. 6 years later, Papini is under arrest Thursday for making false statements to federal agents and engaging in mail fraud. In August 2020, the Department of Justice says Papini was presented evidence that she was not abducted, instead staying with an ex-boyfriend. But she continued making false statements. They also say she was paid out by the California Victims' Compensation Board more than $30,000 over the course of 4 years. Current Shasta County Sheriff Michael Johnson said the arrest signaled a great day for the department, which was thrust into the national stage and subjected to harsh criticisms at the time. In a Facebook post saying Papini drained at least $150,000 and countless hours in resources. Adding, quote, "Not only did this charade take valuable resources away from real criminal investigative matters, but in a time where there is serious human trafficking cases with legitimate victims, Sherri Papini used this tragic societal phenomenon to gain notoriety and financial gain." Now, if convicted for lying to federal officers, Papini faces a maximum 5 years in prison and a fine of $250,000. And if convicted of mail fraud, that carries a sentence of 20 years and a fine of $250,000. Now, the Papinis have been out of the public eye for years.
As you can imagine, this arrest has shocked many people. Tonight, I spoke to the man who helped in the investigation.
The family, obviously, Keith Papini, his children, I feel that they are the true victims in this situation in terms of their mother, their wife, has not only gone missing, back in 2016 for upwards of 1 month, and their family feared the worst. But when she came back, and now that they know that this was a hoax, it has to be probably the most traumatizing thing that anyone could ever experience, and hopefully most people never experience.
Cody Saffin is a private investigator hired by the family when Papini disappeared. He says he was surprised by the news, but was more surprised when she turned up alive. He says that is when this part of the investigation ended.
There we go. Wow, it's crazy. Yeah, all that money. What they say, 20 years for the mail fraud? What do you guys think she'll get? Let's go through these court documents and let's kind of discuss what you think. I personally don't think she'll probably get. Well, I don't know though. Maybe. So she could potentially get like 25 years. But then if they run concurrently, it would be 20 years, right? I'm sure that's the way they do if she even gets the 20. Usually when they say she could get 20 years, that's usually the max, right? When they talk about that. So will she get the max? I don't know. But maybe, to make an example, like, you don't just make up lies. You can't just go make up and say you're kidnapped. All the money that goes out for like all kinds of things. I mean, the search, her therapy, the victims. I don't know if that victim's compensation was that money that she had to use for like all the therapy and everything she went through. I don't know. Let's go through the documents because I haven't got to go through all of them. Maybe it actually talks about some of that stuff. Okay, let's do this, guys. Okay, so here we go. It's crazy though. All right, let me share my screen. I'll try to make it, let's see, as big as I can here. There we go. Is it gonna let me? Oh yeah, we go. Here we go. All right, so you guys could read it, right? Because I noticed when I was looking at my last live, when I was showing the Barry stuff, I'm like, man, I didn't make it big enough, and people, if they couldn't understand my reading, they wouldn't have been able to read it themselves. So I wanted to kind of do it different. Can you guys read that? Okay. So this is United States of America versus Sherri Papini. The complainant in this case state the following is true to the best of my knowledge and belief. On August 7th, 2017 and August 13th, 2020 in the county of Shasta. These facts. So the complaint is based on these facts. Let's see. All right. Let me make sure that, oh yeah, I can move it like that. There we go. I'll just make sure I keep it up like right there. Okay. So this affidavit is made in support of a criminal complaint and arrest warrant for Sherri Papini for making false statements to a federal law enforcement officer in violation of Title 18 United States Code section blah blah blah, and engaging in mail fraud in violation of Title 18. I am a special agent with the FBI, and I have been so employed since August 2010. Okay, so yeah, these are just his qualifications if you guys want to read. So as a part of his official duties, he investigates cases involving kidnapping, false statements, and fraud. The facts set forth in this affidavit are based upon my personal observations, my training and experience. Well, I'm not going to read everything, but this is just saying, the affidavit is intended to show merely that there is sufficient probable cause for a requested complaint and arrest warrant and does not purport to set forth all of my knowledge of or investigation into this matter. So it says all conversations and statements described in this affidavit are related to substance in part only. So summary 1, probable cause. In November 2016, Papini went missing for several weeks and law enforcement conducted a nationwide search for her. When she returned, she told federal law enforcement officers and others that she had been abducted by 2 Hispanic women. Sorry, I said Mexican because the news report that I was watching to catch up and refresh, they said Mexican, so... But this says Hispanic, so that there is a difference. Okay, sorry. But anyway, Papini also provided details of the alleged Hispanic women to an FBI sketch artist and sent text messages to FBI agents about instruments the Hispanic women used to inflict injuries on Papini. However, this was false narrative Papini fabricated. In truth, Papini was staying with a former boyfriend, ex-boyfriend, and harmed herself to support her false statements. I don't know, holy cats. I wonder if the boyfriend is. I don't know because I haven't got to read all this. So let's see. Maybe it'll let us know. I wanted to just do it with you guys. I always like to just share it with you guys first. Okay, so ex-boyfriend told investigators that Papini stayed with him at his house during the dates of her disappearance, and that it was Papini who reached out to him and asked him to come to pick her up in Reading. DNA evidence recovered from Papini's clothing she was wearing when she returned matched ex-boyfriend's DNA. Oh, matched ex-boyfriend. Yeah, because remember, it matched because she said it was 2 women. And the DNA, it was like a male, I feel like, right? Didn't they say that? And that didn't make sense either. But yeah, so the clothing she was wearing returned matched ex-boyfriend's DNA. So I wonder if he came out first or they figured this out, and then they went to him and then he just, told the truth. Okay, so DNA phone records. Wait, where am I? Oh, no. Yeah. Phone records show that Papini and ex-boyfriend were talking to one another as early as December 2015. Ex-boyfriend told investigators that he and Papini used prepaid phones to talk to one another. This was corroborated through evidence of 2 prepaid cell phones that were tied to the ex-boyfriend and would communicate with each other, one from Papini's location and the other from ex-boyfriend's location. Oh, no problem, Bronzy. I know. We watched a part of the clip of the news clip where it showed a part of that interview. He's just crying. I feel bad for him. I really do. Okay, so yeah, they have the 2 phones that were communicating with each other. Historical cell analysis and toll records of the prepaid phones indicated that ex-boyfriend traveled to Reading on or about the date of Papini's disappearance. Papini and ex-boyfriend exchanged texts the morning Papini disappeared. They met together around the location where Papini was last seen, and Papini and ex-boyfriend traveled to Southern California together. But the thing is somebody had brought up in chat, how come it took this long? And that's a good point, because if they have all this evidence and they found it all, that should only took how long to figure that out? That wouldn't have taken how many years? So it's 2016, like 6 years. That wouldn't have taken 6 years to get that kind of evidence. So I wonder if they just kind of didn't look into it, and then they just recently they were like, wait, something made them triggered them, wait, we should look into this, because all this evidence, it seems like pretty easy evidence to put together, right? Anyway, so where are we? Disappeared. They met around the location where Papini was last seen. And Papini and ex-boyfriend traveled to Southern California together. Ex-boyfriend's cousin told investigators that cousin saw Papini and ex-boyfriend's apartment on 2 different occasions, both times unrestrained. Ex-boyfriend also told investigators that approximately 3 weeks later, he had a friend rent a car for him, and then ex-boyfriend drove Papini back to Northern California. Okay, which was corroborated by car rental records and the odometer reading on the rental car. Like, this is all like typical, like, good evidence you could find right away, guys. What the heck? Anyway, so when Papini was interviewed by a federal agent in August 2020, she was warned that it was a crime to lie to federal agents and confronted with evidence that she was not abducted, but instead arranged to have ex-boyfriend pick her up and take her to his home. Papini did not retract her kidnapping story and instead continued to make false statements about her purported abductors and denied her ex-boyfriend's involvement. So right here. In addition, Papini caused the California Victims Compensation Board to pay over $30,000 in fraudulent victim assistance money based on her false kidnapping story, including reimbursements for therapy sessions. So this answers my question. So that goes towards the therapy sessions, blinds, and ambulance services. At least one of these reimbursements was via the U.S. mail. Okay, so that's where they're going with that, huh? So, statement of probable cause. Nationwide search conducted when Papini went missing. At approximately 5:50 p.m. on November 2nd, 2016, Papini's then husband reported. So are they divorced then? I didn't know. Huh? So they got a divorce? Wonder if they got a divorce like just after this whole thing. Maybe it just caused too much stress in the marriage and they got a divorce. I mean, I'm just wondering if it was because he found out she was lying about this, or was it just something else? I'd like to know when they got a divorce. I'll have to look that up. Huh? Does anybody know if they did when they did? I think they did because they're saying then husband reported his wife Papini missing from their home. Papini was the 34-year-old mother of their 2 young children who lived in the Mountain Gate area of Shasta County near Redding, California, in the Eastern District of California. Husband told Shasta County Sheriff's Office deputies that when he arrived home from work, he was unable to locate Papini or their 2 children. Let's see. False reporting. Okay. So husband learned that the children had not been picked up from daycare, as was customary. Husband checked his Find My Phone app and was able to locate Papini's phone near Sunrise Drive in Redding, California. He went to the location and retrieved the phone. Papini was last seen running on Sunrise Drive and was believed to have gone missing between the hours of 10 a.m. and 12 p.m. The SCSO requested FBI assistance in the investigation into Papini's disappearance. Extensive searches were conducted for Papini all over Shasta County, as well as in several states, as the investigation gained worldwide attention. Hundreds of tips were submitted to SCSO and to the FBI. Numerous items of potential evidence were collected from various searches, with none of them leading to Papini's whereabouts. Immediately upon Papini's disappearance, law enforcement scoured the area where Papini appeared to have gone missing. Husband showed SCSO detectives where he found Papini's cell phone. I keep looking to see if anybody answers, guys. Sorry. Oh, they're still married, Janina? What? Why did it word like that, though, in this document? Oh, hey, Bridget. Okay, thanks. So, all right. So where are we at? Yeah. So he showed? Yeah, the detectives where he found the cell phone and earbuds with blonde hairs entangled in them at the south corner of Sunrise Drive and Old Oregon Trail, about 2 feet off the road. Husband thought the cell phone had been placed, which he described as weird, because it didn't look like, if there was like an altercation, it would have been like thrown, or it wouldn't have just been like placed perfectly with the strands of hair and the little earbuds like perfectly on top. It just it seems staged. Anyway, detectives also did a walkthrough of the Papini residence and found nothing out of the ordinary. Papini's purse and jewelry were accounted for, but husband did not know if any unusual banking activity was occurring in Papini's bank accounts. In follow-up interviews, husband stated he and Papini did not have marital issues, but occasionally fought as any married couple would. The last fight they had was in October 2016 over a messy room. Husband stated Papini could get loud when she was angry and knew how to push husband's buttons. An analysis of Papini's cell phone found 2 phone numbers stored under women's names that actually belonged to men, man 1 and man 2. In a text conversation between man 1 and Papini on November 1st, 2016, the two discussed meeting in Reading. See, that's the thing. They had this right away. Couldn't they have, they would have found right away that it was false. You see what I'm saying? And then they could have not even did the victim's compensation. They would have already known and it would never even went out, right? I know it's a touchy thing to accuse a woman of lying, of being kidnapped and abused. You know what I'm saying? But like if they had evidence where they see and then they trace it back to the boyfriend and then they talk to the boyfriend's friend and they ask the boyfriend, and you know what I'm saying? So it just doesn't seem like it should have took 6 years. That's all. But I'm glad they got it done. Hi, Mystery Maverick. What's up, girl? Nice to see you. Yes, Keith is the father of the 2 children. As far as what I know. I mean, that's what they said. Yeah. Okay. All right, let's continue here. I just like to check in with chat every once in a while. Okay. So we got the two men. The one was going to meet them. So this is the day before, because it was November 2nd, right? November 2nd was when the kidnapping. So a day before the kidnapping, they see that there's a conversation between a man. First of all, a man that had a woman's name. So right there is something suspicious. She was lying, trying to hide something. And they discussed meeting in Reading. Additionally, travel records showed man 1 traveled to San Francisco on October 28th, 2016. A few days before the kidnapping, this man is traveling to San Francisco and flew back to Michigan on November 2nd. Maybe that threw him off because he flew back. I don't know. So the day of Papini's disappearance. Investigators traveled out of state to interview man 1 and look for Papini. Papini was not located, and man number 1 told investigators that Papini and man 1 met in approximately 2011. Okay, so it must be man 2. Sorry, I'm jumping the gun here. Oh, wait. Okay, I'm looking it up, Zav, and I thought they were divorced, but well, I didn't think they were divorced until I read this document. That's the way they worded it. They said then husband. Like it's not. Why did they have to add that then if they're still married? They would just say her husband, right? I don't know. That just seems weird that they added that. That's what it was. But yeah, maybe they are then. Maybe there's like something in the works that they're planning. I don't know. Okay. So man number 1 looks like he's cleared or whatever, but he could be hiding her somewhere else. So just because he wasn't at the house. So yeah, they went and checked and she supposedly wasn't at his house. Okay, where are we at? And a man 1 met in approximately 2011 when Papini was out of town for work. The 2 spent the weekend together and continued to exchange flirtatious text messages through the years. Oh, and I forgot to add, they also said that they were childhood, like her and her husband were like, what do you call that? When they were like childhood, like boyfriend and girlfriend, they've known each other forever. They were together for a while. Like sweethearts. That's how they worded it. Childhood sweethearts too. So you can imagine how much this is breaking his heart. I mean, this is this woman that he loves, that he's been in love with his whole freaking life. And she pulls this crap, Okay, so yeah, the 2 spent weekend together and continued to exchange flirtatious text messages through the years. Although they had planned to meet during man 1's trip to California, he returned home without seeing her. Investigators also interviewed man 2, who described meeting Papini around 2000 to 2001 at a Friday Night Live youth program and dating for her for several years. So she was messing around. She was cheating on him with a few men. Gosh darn it. This poor Keith guy. He seems so sweet. Doesn't he? Hi, Linda. He seems like just such a sweet guy. And her poor kids. Yeah. Hi, Judy. Okay. Where are we? So yeah, they dated for several years. Man 2 described Papini as an attention-hungry person who told stories to try to get people's attention. Man 2 stated that Papini fabricated stories of being the victim of abuse from her family, father, and then Man 2 after the couple broke up. So she's just a freaking liar. Because remember, she also lied and said her mom was hurting her. She was hurting herself, and then lying and saying that her mom was abusing her back when she was a teenager. And then she vandalized her parents' house, busted down the door in her parents' house and stuff when she was 17. Okay, so Zelda in the house. What's up? Well, no, she's been with Keith they said her and Keith were like childhood sweethearts though. But they didn't get married. Yeah, I guess they weren't married till 2009. So yeah, you're right. 2001 and 2000 and 2001 would have been before. But she was still talking to them recently, right? It sounds like texting. Okay. Soul in the house. Yeah. Maui girl. Oh my God, it's been forever. What is up, girl? I haven't seen you in a long, long time. You used to come around all the time. How are you? X amount of words. All right, let me continue, guys, and then I'll come stop in and chat in a minute with you. Okay, so where are we at? On November 16th, or when did it say? So yeah, 2001. So that definitely was before that. Thanks for who was the one that just told me that it was before? It's Christina, right? Thank you for making me realize the dates. At least when he said they were dating, it was before they were married. Thank you, because I didn't even catch that. Okay. So where are we? November 16th, 2016, investigators man, how do you even say that? Telephonically? I haven't heard that word I feel like I haven't had to say that word ever. Contacted person one, the director of the Friday Night Live youth program who knew Papini from the program. Person one stated that Papini was the only student person one feared having in the program because Papini was good at creating different realities for people so that they would see what she wanted them to see, which got her really good attention. Wow, dude. Manipulator. She's a good little manipulator, it sounds like, too. Okay. So investigators learned Papini had a previous marriage to man 3. Husband told investigators that Papini married man 3 who was in the military to get medical insurance because wait, so she was married before? See, I'm sorry, I didn't know all this stuff, guys. Wow. So her and Keith must have just been on and off like high school, childhood sweethearts, and then, just on and off their whole life, it sounds like. Okay. So I'm learning some new stuff about her. Wow. Okay. So man 3, husband told investigators that Papini married man 3, who was in the military, to get medical insurance because of a heart murmur issue. Papini's mother told investigators Papini traveled. Wow. Did you see that just cut out? That was weird. Anyway, where am I? Sorry, where are we? Papini traveled all over the world with her first husband. Investigators located man 3 and interviewed him on November 14th, 2016. Man 3 confirmed that he and Papini were married in 2006 prior to his deployment overseas and stated it was because Papini needed health insurance due to complications related to regular egg donations. Man. Man 3 stated that he and Papini never lived together and did not travel together, except for once when Papini visited Man 3 in Japan. When Man 3 returned from deployment, Papini told him she had found someone else and wanted a divorce, to which Man 3 agreed. Papini told Man 3 that her family abused her while growing up, which is a lie. After the divorce, Man 3 heard from mutual friends that Papini had a history of lying. Was her and Keith, because one of the news sources said they were childhood sweethearts. Is that? I want to make sure that, because I keep saying that, I want to make sure that that's right and clear that up. Because what if that news thing was wrong? Because I just noticed how he worded that she had met somebody else, but she probably could have lied like it wasn't somebody she already knew, or it could even be somebody else, not Keith. Did you guys hear they were like childhood sweethearts too, right? That they've known each other their whole life, her and Keith? So let me know so I just know for sure. Let's see. Thank you for welcome. Great catch. Hey, Ruthless. I'm glad you made it. I'm glad you caught it too. She was with for the 3 weeks. Was her husband? Was her sweet house? Oh, oh, really? Wow. The one news clip that I was just like trying to watch a bunch of the old ones to kind of refresh on what was going on. Then they said it wrong because they were like telling the story. And they're like, were high school sweethearts. They had the perfect marriage. Like, and they were talking about Keith though, not high school. They said childhood sweethearts is what they said. Okay. Well, sorry guys, like retract that statement. I don't know when she met Keith then. We'll see. Sorry about that. The news sometimes don't have their facts right, but it happens. Look, I don't either sometimes. And then it bothers me that when I say something and then but as long as I clear it up, but it bothers me because then some people that maybe were watching it before and then didn't watch this part now have the wrong information. And I hate when that happens because if it's my fault. Anyway, where are we at? After more, okay, Papini had a history of lying. Yeah, she does. Investigators also interviewed several Papini's friends. These friends described Papini as being crazy and wild as a youth. The friends recounted that Papini used to run away, and one described an incident in which Papini ran away from home at age 16 to Southern California and stayed with friends. Multiple friends also stated that Papini would make up lies, particularly about being the victim of abuse, especially as a youth. Yeah, I mean, you could see like she must have made up other lies and then lying about her mom abusing her. Like, so then this happens. It makes you question if you already have a history of lying about abuse, because she said these these Hispanic ladies like abused her. So she basically gave herself bruises and stuff and branded herself. I forget what I think the brand, nobody can make out what the brand was. There are pictures out. I feel like I did have pictures, right, of the brand. And it was like nobody really knew what it said, right? The branding that she gave herself and lied and said they did. Let's see. All right, Bridget, thanks for stopping in. Hey, MGM or MJ me or me Jamie. I don't know. He better get a divorce now. Yeah, Best Buy. You're right, Cats. She didn't work yet. The kids went to the daycare so she could maintain her Mama of the Year status. Oh my God. All right. Oh, I'm glad. We do have a nice chat. I love it. Hey, NRPs. I know, but it's not that big. Like, that's not, I guess, that important. It's just whether she knew him as a childhood or not. Like, was she with him as a childhood or not? I don't know. Yes, Mr. Maverick. I'm going to do that later. I have seen it. We're going to watch it. I didn't watch it all because I was like, you know what? I want to do like kind of a reaction video and just talk about it and watch it with you guys. So after this live, I'm going to go eat and then I'm going to do like a commentary reaction type video watching the NK interview with you guys. So come back later tonight and we'll check it out and analyze it. Okay. Let's continue here. I know it does, Jane. Hey, Tashadison. I think that's I'm saying it. All right. Let's see, where are we at? Yeah, so no, Papini discovered on Thanksgiving morning 2016. On November 24th, 2016, at approximately 4:30 a.m., California Highway Patrol responded to several 911 calls made regarding a woman subsequently identified as Papini standing or running in the middle of Interstate 5. These included a truck driver who had stopped for Papini and then called 911 to report the incident. A CHP officer found Papini with the truck driver along I-5 near Woodland, California in Yolo County. approximately 146 miles south of the location of her disappearance. Papini had a chain around her waist that one arm was bound to, with additional bindings around her other wrist and each ankle. Papini was transported to Woodland Hospital, where she underwent several physical examinations. She appeared to have lost a considerable amount of weight, and her long blonde hair had been cut much shorter. She had been branded on her right shoulder, although the exact content of the brand was undistinguishable. Papini's nose was swollen. She had bruises on her face, rashes on her left arm, and her left upper thigh, as well as other parts of her body. Oh, so they're saying, yeah, she had rashes on her left arm, left upper inner thigh, as well as other parts of her body. Ligature marks on her wrists and ankles, burns on her left forearm, and bruising on her pelvis and the fronts of both legs. Toxicology results did not show any significant trace of narcotics in Papini's system at the time of her return, and a physical exam did not show evidence of SA. While at Woodland Hospital, Papini's clothing was selected for DNA sampling, including her sweatshirt, sweatpants, socks, and underwear. Papini told investigators that this was her original underwear from the day of her disappearance. The clothing was submitted to the California Department of Justice, the Bureau of Forensic Services, Redding Laboratory, that stands for processing. Mixtures of DNA consistent with Papini and one male contributor who was not husband were recovered from multiple cuttings taken from Papini's underwear and one cutting taken from Papini's sweatpants, which is another red flag because she said it was two women. So why would there be a male, right? And this was, but I guess she made sure she said the underwear was what she was wearing ahead of time. And then the clothes were supposedly like not hers, whatever they gave her. Well, we know now it was the boyfriend, but well, unless if she went out and bought like pants or like clothes for it. But anyway, so the male contributed DNA to Papini's clothing was uploaded to the Combined DNA Index System, the CODIS, where they were routinely searched against profiles from case evidence as well as individuals in the database. In 2020, a familial match to the male contributor DNA identified, which eventually led to ex-boyfriend as described in greater detail below. So that's why they must not have had enough to really like accuse her of lying until they did that and they made a match, because they can't make, if they don't have like enough evidence to like charge the boyfriend, they can't make him give his DNA, you know? So they had to do it this way. And so that answers why I feel like that it took so long for the charge, right? But that's still 2 years. Probably takes a while to get all the forms and stuff together, huh? Hey, Thrive. Yeah, definitely, Jane. Definitely. Yeah, wait for me, Ananias. It'll be fun because I haven't even watched it. I mean, I've heard it a million times. I kind of skimmed through it, but I haven't even watched it because I wanted to wait to watch it like live with you guys. So, yeah, it won't be long after this. Like I said, I'm gonna eat a quick dinner and then I already have the thumbnail ready. So, and then we'll do it. Anyway, this was 2016, Jane. Oh wait, is that what you're talking about? This case? November 2nd, 2016 is when she supposedly got abducted or whatever, kidnapped. Okay, where are we at? Yeah, on November 26th, 2016, the day Papini was located. Yeah, so wait, hold on. Papini's allegations of abduction by two Hispanic women at gunpoint. On November 24th, 2016, the day Papini was located, the detectives attempted to interview Papini at Woodland Hospital. And during an ambulance ride from Woodland Hospital to another facility. Papini refused to speak to the detectives, so they gave the audio recorder to husband, who asked Papini questions. The detectives remained in the room and rode along in the ambulance. However, it was husband who conducted the interview. The interview was recorded and transcribed in its entirety. I never heard the interview. Have you guys heard it? Wonder if I could find it. Oh, thanks for joining. X amount of words. Thank you. That's what you just reminded me. You guys, I'm going to do a giveaway, a members giveaway. And I'm going to do it during the next live, the NK live, and I haven't used the StreamYard thing that they do for giveaways, so hopefully it'll work good. But I have to give you guys a word that you type in during the live. So what I'm going to do, so all the members, I'm going to put it up in the community post for members only, and I'm going to put the word that you have to type in on the next live. So the next live, all you have to do to be entered in the giveaway is type in the word that I give you on the community chat. Does that make sense? Hopefully it all works. It's supposed to work. It's the StreamYard thing. And then it'll automatically enter you into the giveaway, and then it'll pick a name at the end. So yeah, it's under the community post, guys. If you go to either could go to community post, and then you'll see all the member stuff there, the members videos and whatever I do there. It's all under community post. Or there's a section, I think it's 3 down on my homepage for the members, where you'll see that too. So make sure you go, because I can't announce the word to everybody, because it'll be like a members. And then I do want to do a subscriber one too. But okay, so let's continue here. Where are we? Sorry, I keep rambling all over the place. So yeah, I want to find that interview. So he interviews her. Papini stated that her abductors alluded, let me move this up. They alluded to law enforcement being involved in her kidnapping. Papini stated that her abductors alluded to law enforcement being involved in her kidnapping, and therefore she did not want to speak to law enforcement. Yeah, but she's already all these red flags. I mean, she's already safe and home. Like, if they didn't want to release her, they wanted something for it, they would have not released her and asked for a ransom, or you know what I'm saying? They wouldn't have just let her go. Okay, so Papini explained that her abductors read articles to her that stated Papini had left voluntarily as opposed to being kidnapped, which Papini denied. Further along in the interview, Papini again said, what does it say? Different analysis also identified some sperm or partial sperm in the clothing. However, the male contributor DNA material and analyzed may have come from sperm or another source. It was probably her boyfriend's, right? But thank you, X amount. Thank you for joining. Welcome to the family. Okay, yeah, if you're talking about the word, I haven't put it up yet, but after this live, I'll put up the word. But you could go look at any of the past videos I did for members too. Okay. So anyway, Papini again said that her abductors told her that law enforcement was involved in her kidnapping. So she's trying to say, they were saying that the law enforcement were involved. Oh my gosh. Papini stated she was laughing at me. No one believes you. Everyone thinks you ran away. No one believes you. Guess what? The buyer's a cop. They're never going to find you. Later in the same interview, Papini expressed concern because officers were writing everything down that she was saying, and she repeatedly stated that she did not want to talk to law enforcement. She's probably nervous because it's a lie. So if her story changes just a little bit and she doesn't remember everything, I mean, she'll get caught. No, I never really did either, but I was just kind of careful, kind of how I said it, because yeah, you don't want to, accuse a possible victim of lying, but like, I was just like, something doesn't seem right, but doesn't it? Panini, you're thinking of Heavenly Cows? Are you thinking of Panini? Papini, but there's Paninis. Oh my God, you're funny. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Mystery Maverick. Yes, she does have a channel. Go check her out. Definitely. Oh, it's okay. It's interesting. I kind of did a summary at the beginning, Mystery Maverick, and I do have another video I did like a couple years ago. I'll link it in the description after this, where I talk about the whole story, the summary, and I show pictures and videos and stuff. All right, let's continue this. So, wait, where are we at? Writing down that repeatedly should not want to talk to law enforcement. Okay, so Papini said 2 Hispanic women abducted her, although one of the women brought her back. There was an older one and a younger one. They were Hispanic. They spoke Spanish a lot. The Hispanic women always wore masks. Oh, it was the women that always wore masks. That's right. Okay. And short black leather gloves. Papini described the older woman as really mean and the younger one as seemingly reluctantly involved. Papini described the younger abductor as smaller with curly, long brown hair who spoke more Spanish. Papini described the older woman as taller and fat, had straight, dark, or black hair with gray in it, and a raspy voice. The older abductor hit the younger abductor. Although Papini never saw this happen, she could hear it. Papini stated that her abductors always wore masks, sometimes different color bandanas, and sometimes lace masks. Papini had a hard time remembering many details about her abductors, including description of the clothing they were wearing or the words on the hat one of them was wearing. Papini described the events that occurred at the time she was abducted. A dark-colored SUV containing the two Hispanic women first drove past her, then backed up when they saw her jogging up the road. One of the women had on sunglasses, and Papini believed she said, "Can you help me?" Okay, so she did see them at the beginning. Okay, sorry guys. Okay. And it wasn't a van, it was an SUV. So I just forgot some of these little details. So one of the women had on glasses, and Papini believed she said, "Can you help me?" Papini walked towards the woman, who opened the door of the vehicle to show Papini she had a gun, which Papini described as a little revolver. The woman told Papini to put her phone down. Papini recalled the woman said something to the effect of, "We don't want to kill you." Papini put her phone down and got into the SUV. Papini described the SUV as having tinted windows and either no seats or one seat on the far side and a hump that went up. Oh, thanks for joining, Justice, for baby dear. Thank you so much. Yeah. Oh, hey, Tennessee. I don't even think I said hi to you. Thank you for coming. Breeze, cement shoes. Dark sea in the house. Ashley. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right. So here's a little note here. It says, for several months and even years, Redding and the nearby community were on the lookout for two Hispanic women. Multiple tips were given to law enforcement by the community about suspicious-looking Hispanic women. Investigators, including the FBI and SCSO, searched for vehicles that matched Papini's description, I'm sure. Okay, so let's continue. So Papini said that she did not see where the women took her because they wrapped something over her face. That's where I was getting at. Okay. Husband asked Papini if her kidnappers put a bag over her head right away. Papini responded, "I don't remember. I don't know. I think she may have tased me. The next thing I remember is all my clothes were gone. Although Papini tried to stay awake during the drive, she kept falling asleep." Husband tried to get Papini to describe the road trip after she was abducted. He asked her how long the trip took, whether she felt changes in altitude, what she could describe about the vehicle she was in. Papini responded, "I don't remember a lot. I'm missing time. The car smelled really bad, like sewage. She stuck me with something. I kept falling asleep." No, so now she's saying that she injected her with something probably, and that's why she kept falling asleep. Like they drugged her, basically, is what she's saying. Okay. Papini said that the older abductor liked to hit her, and the younger one would yell at her in Spanish. Papini described how she tried to manipulate her abductors to give her more information about why she was abducted, including offering to clean and cook for them. However, anytime the younger abductor spoke to Papini, the older one hit her. Oh, lordy. Papini said the women put her in a closet with a bucket with kitty litter in it for her to use as a toilet. Hey, soul sister. What's up? I plead the fifth. Doohickey. Oh, thanks, Holy Cats. Man, she really could tell some lies, huh? Wow. Very crazy. Oh, cool. Thank you. Voices Carrie. Thank you so much. All right. God's country. She went all in her lie. Yeah, she did. I know, it's kind of making me laugh too, because I mean, now we actually can laugh because she isn't a victim and she is just so ridiculous. Hey, Zero. Oh, they were? I didn't even know that. Okay. Okay, thanks, Zero. I didn't even know that. Thanks for the update. Okay. Let's see what other story she has. Okay. Papini said the women put her in a closet with a bucket with kitty litter for her to use the toilet. She described the closet as containing shelves and a metal pole to which the women hooked a cable and chain to, with the other end of the chain hooked around her waist. There was enough length on it for Papini to reach the bed, but she could not reach the door. The chain was unmovable because it was bolted into the ceiling. Papini described how when she did not listen to the women, they would lock her in the closet. Papini stated that there were boards on the windows of the room she was kept in. Papini provided additional descriptions of her captivity location and her abductors. They would play music loudly, that really annoying Mexican music, and they would watch TV. There was a fireplace. I could smell it. I could hear that sound, when you move the handle to open the fireplace. It made like a creaky sound, and it was cold. It was always cold, and it seemed like it rained almost every night. Okay. Okay, so husband asked Papini if she ever heard anything distinct that might lead investigators to her abductors. And she answered, I heard birds. I never heard anything else. They put the stereo right outside my door and played it super loud. Papini described how her location was always cold and that her abductors would take her blankets away if she made a noise. Papini told husband that there was no SA while she was in captivity. Papini said her abductors fed her once a day, maybe rice or tortillas, and sometimes apples. However, if Papini behaved, her abductors gave her additional food. Papini stated that many times her abductors gave her cream of wheat to eat and described how everything tasted horrible and was crap or leftover crap. Papini was also given a bottle of water. To give her meals, her abductors opened the door, put it in there, and slammed the door. When Papini disappeared, she was wearing jogging clothes. When she returned, she was wearing gray sweatpants, a gray sweatshirt, and her original underwear. During the interview, Papini could not explain what happened to her original clothes. Papini said she fell asleep during the car ride after she was abducted and woke up in a room with different clothes on, with no recollection of how her clothes came to be changed. Papini stated, I didn't have any clothes. All I had left was my underwear, which she let me wash when I took a shower. Papini also stated that her abductors cut her hair and put an adult diaper on her. Ow. Papini also stated that she was branded after the first time she tried to escape. I tried to get out the first time, and that's when she branded me. Papini described how her abductors brought a table in, hit her back, and tied her to the table. When they branded Papini, her skin made a sizzling popping sound, and it was very painful. Later in the same interview, Papini said her abductors told her that her buyer wanted Papini branded because that was what he liked. Papini never heard her buyer's name because the abductor spoke most. So that was the point, you guys. Somebody asked because supposedly they were selling her, like for somebody was buying her, right? But somebody did an interview. I don't know if it was like a detective investigator. I forget, but they were talking about how she was way older than like a typical person they would choose to abduct for these purposes. But I know, there's always exceptions, but okay, so let's see. This is a little side note. It says, based on the descriptors Papini provided, investigators believe she had been held in a mountainous location and focused efforts in areas of higher altitudes. Papini had lost a significant amount of weight by the time she returned. In all of her subsequent interviews, Papini never again mentioned being put in an adult diaper. Okay. So let's see. Where are we? Where did that branded? Because that was what he liked. Okay. Papini never heard her buyer's name because the abductors spoke mostly Spanish, and Papini did not understand more than a few Spanish words. These included discussions about medicine, traffic cameras, a delivery date, and a gamble, as well as Spanish insults directed at Papini. When Papini would take a shower, she was guarded by the younger abductor holding a gun. The abductor said that they were not supposed to hurt Papini, and also mentioned getting paid. Papini could not remember much of the day she was returned. She heard the two women arguing in Spanish. Papini believed the younger abductor was saying that Papini needed medicine. Papini heard what she believed was a gunshot and then said she could hear the younger one leave. Papini said the younger abductor was gone for a long time and Papini was left alone in the house. Papini stated that she screamed and screamed until she fell asleep. Papini explained, I listened so carefully, but it was all Spanish. I heard the word gambling. Papini was asleep when the younger abductor came to get her to leave. It happened really fast, and then Papini was in the car. Papini believed a pillowcase was put over her head at some point, but did not recall when or how. Papini said that she tried hard to stay awake during the drive, but it was hard for her to stay awake, and she kept falling asleep. Papini's abductor stopped the car and told Papini to get out. Papini explained that when the younger abductor dropped her off, she clipped something off Papini's arm that allowed Papini to move her arm. Then the abductor sped off. Papini's abductor was already far away by the time Papini was able to pull the pillowcase off her head. So Papini stated that she ran to a church and banged on the door, but nobody was there. Papini then ran to the freeway where she tried to flag down a motorist. Eventually, a truck driver stopped for Papini and assisted her until CHP arrived. On November 28th and 29th, detectives interviewed Papini at her residence and the residence of a family member. These interviews were recorded and subscribed in their entirety. Yeah, see, investigators initially believed Papini's abduction was related to human. I don't want to say those two words together but you could see, yeah, you guys could read that. Based on the statements she made regarding a buyer and her abductors discussing getting paid for having abducted Papini. Okay. How's everybody doing? Good. Oh, yay! New to your channel, new content. Oh, thank you, Pearl's Rescue. Glad to have you. All right. Hi, Kylie. I'm curious. What's up? Yeah, crazy. I wonder, so did okay, so the boyfriend that she was with, was he seeing her doing this to herself? Did he help do this to her? I mean, did he help cause the branding and the bruises? And I mean, when did she do this? You know what I'm saying? Because if he had any part in it, then he should be arrested too. Okay, so where are we at? So during these interviews, Papini described more details about her abduction. Papini refused to be alone with detectives and insisted husband be present. Detectives explained to Papini that even though their questions to Papini, wow, I didn't realize this was 55 pages. I don't know if we're going to be able to go through all of them. I didn't realize it was that many. Well, let's read a few more and then see what ones we could skip. Okay. So Papini refused to be alone with the detectives and insisted the husband be present. Detectives explained to Papini that even though their questions to Papini might seem trivial or dumb, there was a reason the detectives were asking those questions. Papini explained that she understood because she watched a lot of crime shows on television. Detectives asked Papini to start from the beginning and describes the events that led up to her abduction. She described the morning of her abduction as following her usual routine, took her kids to daycare, cleaned up around the house, begun to wrap Christmas presents for her husband. At 11 a.m., she sent a text message to husband, asking him to come home for lunch. Papini joked with the detectives that husband was embarrassed about the last text message Papini sent him before she disappeared, which she stated was along the lines of, "Honey, would you please come home to have sex with your wife for lunch?" Okay, since husband would not be able to come home for lunch, Papini decided to go for a run. She explained that she recently had a breast augmentation procedure and had just begun to heal enough to start jogging. She wanted to train for a local 5K race, had been using a cell phone app to help her train. She almost always listened to her wedding song, Michael Bublé's Everything, when she ran. It's a good pace keeper. She described the route she took and the people she saw along the route. As she approached the end of Sunrise Drive, she saw the dark colored SUV with long back windows. So this is kind of stuff we already heard here. Yeah, they asked for help and thanks, Justice for Baby. Justice for Baby's Dear, thank you so much. I love your work and honesty. Do you have time in the future for another case? Dior Coons Jr., thank you for all you do. Your channel is fun to watch. Let me write that down. Yeah. Let me take a look at it. What is it? Dior Cons. I never heard of it. Was it a new case? And where's it from? Thank you so much. That's very generous of ya. Aww. Okay. All right, there, right there. And thanks for joining too. Wow, you remember, and the super chat is so sweet. All right, so yeah, they asked for help, and then Papini explained that she had her phone in her right hand and her earbuds on, and she took out her left earbud to hear the woman. When Papini approached the vehicle, the woman opened the door, and Papini saw she had a small revolver, and Papini immediately ducked down, set her phone and earbuds on the ground, and pulled out some of her hair to leave with her phone and earbuds. So she did it, saying she did it on purpose, you know. Papini said she believed the woman said something like, "We don't want to hurt you and we don't want to kill you." Yeah, some of this is talking about like she got into the car, the pillowcase over her head. She woke up already in the vehicle. The pillowcase smelled like laundry detergent. She felt nauseous and cold during the drive. She was lying in the back of the vehicle on the floor. The road was windy. Her wrists hurt. Her hips were achy from the way she was positioned. How long did it take for Papini to get achy hips when she laid on her side? She estimated approximately 40 minutes based on television show she last watched, which is a crime television show called Blacklist. She didn't recall which direction. She didn't recall any stops. Could not determine the length of the trip. She kept falling asleep, so we already kind of heard that. And then when detective asked if she recalled any music during the trip, she answered yes, mariachi music. She doesn't remember if she heard any commercials. She did not remember getting out of the vehicle. First thing she remembers waking up in a room, zip ties around her wrist, no longer in the clothes. So we heard all that. Okay. She said when she first woke up in the room, she tried to break the zip ties off of her. They were bound with zip ties behind her back, couldn't break them. She chewed them until she could break them and cut her lip in the process. I mean, she did so many little details. Let's see. Papini explained that she unsuccessfully tried to do one of these moves to chop her hands down to break the ties, but she eventually got them off by biting through them, which cut her lip. She said that anytime she made noise, her captors would come in running into the room. Okay. When detectives asked Papini if she ever felt as though she was the only one in the house, she said no. She could feel movement in the house, and the radio was often being played loud. Okay, let's see. When she got the zip ties off, she tried to open the door, but it was locked, the deadbolt. She stood on the bed to get to the window, which was covered with 2 boards. She yanked it out of the wall super quick. She made a noise when she did that, though, and they rushed in and found her. And then they struck Papini with something. She did not see the object that they used to hit her, but it could have been a taser. The next thing Papini recalled was waking up in a lot of pain on her back. All I remember from the experience. Okay. And she was branded because it was a punishment for her first escape attempt when she pulled the board off the window. Okay. So she wasn't allowed to look at her abductors. They told her, don't look at me. Although they never said to get on all fours, detectives continued to ask Papini to explain when and how she was branded, why she had said it was a punishment for her first escape. Papini explained that the branding was not punishment trying to escape through the window, but for making too much noise. Oh, yeah. So the abductors would hurt her when Papini would look up at her, or anytime she wasn't on all fours with her head down. So she came to understand that she had to drop down to the floor whenever her abductors came into the room. And Papini explained that her abductors often told her, don't look at me. So that was stuff before. Okay. Papini said the branding was done all in one extended time period and that it was the older abductor who did the branding. And the younger one is the one who held the tools to brand her with. She didn't see the tools they used, but because they were behind her, but she described a clicking sound similar to tinking of a metal pan. If you were watching a show where they were removing a bullet from someone and dropping it into a pan, oh, she's saying tinking of a metal pan like if you were watching a show. Okay. Papini had a hard time remembering the details because she was in so much pain, both from the branding and also because of the weight of her body on her breast implants. So she wasn't, they said, well, did they hold you down while she was branded? And she said, I wasn't necessarily held down. It was my arm. Like I couldn't pull it up. And she doesn't know what they used for a heat source. Papini postulated that the tool was smaller than a fire poker, more like the size of a screwdriver, as her abductor was close to her. Okay, we already saw what she ate. And about the toilet, how she had the bucket with the kitty litter. Okay, she was given a shower twice while she was being held. Papini could not recall the approximate days that she was given showers because she was unable to tell the passage of time while she was in captivity. The first shower she described as hurting her because she had burns and open wounds. Papini described the bathroom as having a high-pressured shower. The shower had light-colored speckled tile with a crack in it. There was no shower curtain, and the shower head was chrome and inexpensive. Papini's older abductor stood at the door while the younger abductor stood behind Papini. Papini did not look at her abductors because she was always told not to look at them. Papini was provided with a body wash that smelled like coconut, but no shampoo. Papini was first stated that she washed her underwear in the shower, but later stated that she kept her underwear on while she showered and only had a few seconds to wash herself. Papini was not provided with a towel to dry herself. Papini tried to hit the younger abductor with something, but couldn't remember what. It was that she used to hit her abductor. She stated, I tried to hit her with something in the bathroom, and then the next time I went to the bathroom, everything was gone. The mirror was gone, the towel rack was gone. And then when they asked, how did your hair come to be cut? She told detectives that she did not know what led to her hair being cut. She believed it was a response to her making noise because she was moving and the cable affixed to the pool in the closet clanged. She stated that whenever she would make a noise, they would rush in. She had a hard time remembering that day and eventually recalled that she thought she was trying to make the bed. And I want to say I was smoothing out a blanket and the cable made that noise. All right. So Papini did not feel it was time for the trash can to be emptied on that day, and the bigger one came into her room and Papini dropped to the floor on all fours. She had her hair pulled back already in what she believed was her original hair tie. The two women said something in Spanish to each other, and the other one was outside the room. Papini said she was hit on the shoulder and then yanked backwards, and she felt like it happened really fast. After her abductor cut Papini's hair, she held it in her hand and stood over Papini. The woman told Papini, I'm going to send it to your mother. Papini did not know what she used to cut her hair. Also, detectives asked Papini about a blog post written by Sherri Graf. Many people in the Redding area speculated that Papini wrote the blog post. Which was titled Keep Walking. The post appeared to have been written sometime in 2007. In the post, Graf detailed how she grew up in Shasta Lake, California, was a good athlete, but was picked on in high school by a group of Latinos. The post stated, I used to come home in tears because I was getting suspended from school all the time for defending myself against the Latinos. I remember this, yes, because some people were thinking that's why she said that it was these two ladies, like just to make, I don't know, let's see what they say. Hold on. The chief problem was that I was drug-free. Wait, what? The chief problem was that I was drug-free, white, and proud of my blood and heritage. This really irked a group of Latino girls, which would constantly rag and attack me. The post detailed how Graf fought the girls and how it took 3 full-size men to pull me off her. I broke her nose and split her eyebrow. The post goes on to explain why it was titled Keep Walking, because Graf's father told her how proud he was of her after the fight with the other girls, and that she kept walking when her shin was split open as a result of the fight. Graf concluded the post with, being white is more than just being aware of my skin, but of standing behind skinheads who are always around in spirit as well and having pride for my country. Detectives told Papini it appeared the post was originally written on MySpace. When the detectives asked Papini if she had a MySpace account, Papini stated that she did not remember. Papini told detectives that prior to her kidnapping, she had hired an attorney to try and have the post removed. Wow. Wait, hold on. Papini said she had believed someone else had written the post using the name Sherri Graf and described the post as awful. Yeah, right. Okay, so I'm trying to think of. So this is just, I'm just going to read this first paragraph. So Papini's false statements to federal investigators. On March 2nd, 2017, Papini conducted a forensic interview with an FBI forensic interviewer, which was recorded and transcribed in its entirety. This was the first interview conducted without husband in the room. Papini stated that she continued to fear law enforcement and told the interviewer, who was a female, that she did not trust her. Papini kept her head down and looked at the floor for the majority of the interview. At the beginning of the interview, the interviewer stated, I just asked everybody to tell me about the truth, okay? Papini responded, okay. In the interview, Papini provided the following information. So this is just going to say the lie. Like the story that she came up with, you know? So we're not going to go through all this again. I mean, I'm going to skip through some of this, okay? Hey, Nicole Silverleaf, what's up, girl? Glad to see ya. Soul sister, I don't know. We're trying to figure that out. Everybody said that, yeah, they're still married, but like in this document, it describes her then husband. So I don't know why it said it like that, right? But no, I guess they're still married. Everybody looked it up. I haven't got a chance to look it up. I should just do that real quick. But I'm trusting everybody that said they did. All right, so let's see what we can skip here. So she's just telling the story, which we just kind of heard her story. The thing is I bet you if we read through what she said originally in the original interviews and then what she says how many years later, when was this? Oh no, I guess just the next year. So what she says here, if there's like little differences in the story. So, but there's so many pages, so I don't know if I'm going to read all of it. Let's see. Let me just kind of skim through to see if I notice anything different from what we just read. Okay, let's see. So yeah, Papini explained that she knew her family would find her phone, and her intention was for her family to find her hair with her phone when they found her phone. So that's why she ripped her hair out. Later in the interview, Papini explained that there have been many times when her abductors were not covering their faces. I don't know. There could have been but I didn't look up. I was really scared. So that's when they asked. What did they ask? Oh, I don't know. I don't know why she said it like that. But anyway, okay. Give me a little, okay. So she wasn't provided silverware when she ate, so she folded the plate and shoveled the food into her mouth. Papini said she got a lot of scraps, sometimes bread, crackers, apples, leftovers, meat, some rice, black beans, chunks of bread. Papini said she was asleep for a very long time, waking up every once in a while, feeling sick and dizzy. The first time her clothes were changed were after her first shower. Okay. Let's see. So they told her that her buyer was a cop. She said, "We sell you." The bigger one told Papini, "Your buyer's a cop." Okay, so let me back up. So Papini said she was trying to get her abductors to talk to her while she was in the shower and asked her abductors, "Where am I? Why am I here?" But they did not respond to her. The little one had a really thick accent and said, "Well, we sell you." The bigger one told Papini, "Your buyer's a cop." Then when the abductors were talking to each other, the big one said something to the little one, and she turned her body and lowered her gun, at which point Papini jumped on her and shoved her face on the toilet. Papini explained that it was slippery and she slipped and cut her foot on the stupid side of the cabinet. Then the big one came in and dragged Papini back into the bedroom by her hair and shoved a bitter liquid down Papini's throat until she was choking and gagging. Papini explained that then the abductors hit her, locked her back up, and left the room. Papini put on clothes that had been laid out on the bed and laid her underwear out to dry. Okay. Yeah, let's talk about the branding, which we already kind of heard. We like a lot of this is just already stuff that we heard. Okay. Did they figure out what this? Yeah, so the interview asked Papini had any questions, and Papini asked, "Did they figure out what it says on my back?" referencing the branding on her back. The interviewer asked Papini if she had looked at it to see what it says, and Papini responded, "It's really hard to see. I have to look at a picture to look at it." Interview. The interviewer asked Papini what she thought it said, and Papini responded, "I think it says Exodus, but I can't read the numbers." The interviewer asked Papini if she had any idea what any meaning might be for the brand. Papini responded, "No, I read it, but it's really confusing. It's a really confusing Bible passage. It's like a really weird part of the Bible. It doesn't make any sense." So I don't know. Let's see. On March 31st, husband contacted the FBI and provided the following information. Papini told husband that the room in which she was kept had paneling similar to beadboard on the bottom half of the wall and drywall on the top half. Papini described the carpet as orange-colored and shaggy. Husband provided photos of the drawing he made with Papini of the room and device used to chain Papini to a pole in the closet in the room. Wow. Wow, they're saying, and then I guess when they went to Dick's Sporting Goods after this sometime, while in the gun section of the store, Papini was fine until she saw the display of revolvers. When Papini saw the revolver, she shut down and got scared. Papini pointed at the black Ruger revolver and said, "That's what it looks like." Husband informed the agents that Papini wanted to sit down with a sketch artist. Husband stated that Papini was seeing a plastic surgeon to have the burns on her arm repaired with laser treatments. During one of the treatments, Papini smelled the burned hair from the laser and shut down, and treatment had to be stopped. Oh my God, she is something else. Oh, thanks, Doohickey, for being a member. Yay, welcome to the family. Like I said, I'm going to be doing a giveaway on my next live, so I'm going to put the word you have to type in the next live. You just type it in, and then it should automatically enter you into the giveaway. I haven't used this yet, but hopefully it'll work good. I'm excited to try it out. Okay. Let's see. So we already saw, like, on June 22nd is when they did she met with the sketch artist to create renderings of the 2 Hispanic females who abducted her. Let me show you a picture of that. Hold on one second. Of the 2, so some of you that maybe just came in. I know they showed it on the video, but let's show you. This is what she claimed. This is the sketch that she claimed that these were what they look like, the 2 abductors. So the right one looks like the older one, and the left one looks like the younger one. So that's her lie is just so specific. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. And that's what she's just explaining here. Like, there's the large hoop earrings, hairy arms. She's just explaining what they look like, but we just saw that. Okay. All right. Yeah, that's still describing what they look like. Oh, here we go. So on March 16th, 2018, Papini contacted FBI agents and stated that during a session with her therapist, she recalled additional information. Papini, let me make it like this so it's bigger for you guys to read. Okay. So Papini came to believe the burns on her arms were made with heated up kitchen utensils, such as the back end of a butter knife or a spoon. Papini had a silverware at home and that matched the scars on her arms. Papini was asked to provide pictures, but could not at the time, as she and her husband were preparing to take a trip to a hunting cabin out by Platina, California, where there would be no cell phones. Okay. Oh, here we go. So yeah, on May 7th, the husband contacted an FBI agent and stated that during a therapy session, Papini remembered that one of the women holding Papini captive tried to pour a sticky substance down her mouth. Papini wiped her mouth off with her underwear, leaving a sticky substance on the underwear, and then fell asleep. FBI's discovery that Papini had actually been with a former boyfriend. Okay, so here's some new stuff. So September 26, 2019, detectives submitted a letter to CA, DOJ, BFS requesting a familial DNA search for the unknown male DNA contributor identified on Papini's underwear. On March 19, 2020, the Familial Search Committee voted to release familial search results to provide analytical assistance in an effort to identify the unknown male DNA. Mr. Maverick, yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. Alrighty. On March 19th, 2020, they received an email identifying person 2 as a potential relative of the unknown male DNA contributor identified in Papini's clothing. Person 2 had 2 living biological sons, one whom was ex-boyfriend. An investigation into ex-boyfriend revealed that he was briefly associated with an address owned by Papini's parents. Additionally, the investigation revealed that ex-boyfriend and Papini were joint subscribers to an America Online email account, and also that ex-boyfriend and Papini had conducted historical financial transactions together. Wow. On July 2020, FBI special agents reviewed ex-boyfriend's brother's social media pages and identified a table similar in appearance to the table Papini described to law enforcement in August 2017. as the table her abductor strapped her to and branded her on. Oh my God. On June 9th, 2020, FBI special agents collected discarded items from the trash can outside of ex-boyfriend's residence in Costa Mesa, including discarded Honest honey green tea bottle. These items were provided to the lab for analysis on July 10th, 2020. They concluded that the DNA obtained from the mouth area of the Honest tea green tea bottle matched the unknown male DNA collected for Papini's clothing. Good work, guys. Yes. On August 2020, investigators interviewed the ex-boyfriend and he told them the following. Okay, let's hear what he says. Let me get a sip of water, guys. This is going to be good. Okay. Her boyfriend admitted to investigators that he had helped Papini run away. Ex-boyfriend explained that Papini was a good friend and she had asked him for help. Papini told him that her husband was beating and R-ing her. God, you gotta be kidding me. Oh my God. And she was trying to escape. Always the victim. On all these situations, she's always this poor little victim, right? Papini told ex-boyfriend that she had filed police reports, but the police were not doing anything to stop her husband's abuse. Ex-husband said she had something planned up, and he was trying to help her get away from husband and be a good friend. Ex-boyfriend and Papini had known each other since they were 13 or 14 years old and had a long history together as friends. The two also had a romantic relationship and had previously been engaged. Ex-boyfriend told investigators that Papini reached out to him out of the blue and that they had not spoken in a long time because she got married. She had kids. Her ex-boyfriend estimated that sometime in 2015, he was cleaning his house and came across a box of old photos and personal items. And then there's a note that the SC's SO did not have any domestic violence reports filed by Papini against her husband. So figured we knew that was a lie. Anyway, so he comes across this old box of photos and personal items that belonged to Papini from when they were in a relationship together. So ex-boyfriend sent box of Papini's personal items to Papini's parents and then called her parents to let them know the box was coming. Ex-boyfriend did not know if his sending Papini's personal items back to her parents was what prompted Papini to reach out to him. When Papini first called ex-boyfriend, he was at work. Papini told ex-boyfriend she had a plan to run away to him and that she had been saving some of her cash and planned to send some money to ex-boyfriend for her to have when she was with him. Ex-boyfriend stated she kind of laid out the situation. Papini did not get into a lot of detail, and the call was brief because ex-boyfriend was at work. Papini told ex-boyfriend to get a prepaid phone to communicate with her. Initially, Papini and ex-boyfriend called each other on their regular phones, but eventually they began to communicate on prepaid phones that were not attributable to either of them. Papini devised a plan for ex-boyfriend to drive to Redding, and ex-boyfriend agreed. Ex-boyfriend admitted to investigators that there could have been a better plan and said the planning process was not very long. Investigators asked ex-boyfriend if there was any females involved in helping Papini escape, and ex-boyfriend said no. Investigators asked ex-boyfriend if he had seen the sketches of the women who allegedly abducted Papini, and ex-boyfriend responded, yeah, no, I don't know any Mexican girls. Ex-boyfriend initially could not recall how he knew where to pick up Papini. Later in the interview, ex-boyfriend recalled that Papini sent him a care package that included the location where she wanted him to pick her up. In the summer of 2016, ex-boyfriend and Papini had been talking, and ex-boyfriend let Papini know he was in the hospital. Papini sent a care package to ex-boyfriend's residence after he had been home from the hospital for a while. Included in the care package was a piece of paper with the location where Papini wanted ex-boyfriend to pick her up. Ex-boyfriend thought he must have Googled the location to get an idea of where to go. Okay. Ex-boyfriend asked a friend, person 3, to rent a car for him to use, but did not explain why he needed the car. On October 31st, 2016, person 3 rented a dark-colored Dodge Challenger for ex-boyfriend. Ex-boyfriend did not specify what kind of car person 3 should rent, but did not expect person 3 to rent a sports car. Ex-boyfriend told investigators that on November 2nd, 2016, he got up early in the morning and drove the rented Dodge Challenger from Southern California to Redding, California. When ex-boyfriend got to Redding, He went to Trader Joe's and bought some stuff and ate breakfast. Wait, hold on. Okay, yeah. So he stopped at a Starbucks and waited to hear from Papini about where he should drive to meet her. Ex-boyfriend believed Papini communicated with him on a prepaid phone using a prepaid phone she already had. Papini sent ex-boyfriend a text message detailing where she wanted ex-boyfriend to pick her up. Ex-boyfriend recalled he picked Papini up on a street called Old Something just outside of Reading. Ex-boyfriend described that as he was driving up the road, Papini was walking down the road. Ex-boyfriend pulled up to Papini, opened the passenger side door of the vehicle, and folded the front seat down so that Papini could get into the back seat. Papini was wearing athletic clothes when the boyfriend picked her up. She had been jogging and was all sweaty. Papini got into the vehicle and lay down in the back seat. Boyfriend drove straight back to California, stopping only a few times for gas and coffee. Papini stayed in the back seat of the vehicle the entire length of the trip. Boyfriend or ex-boyfriend and Papini did not talk much during the drive back. Down to Costa Mesa. Ex-boyfriend recalled that Papini was worried about her kids and was having a hard time with that, but otherwise the ride was fairly quiet. Ex-boyfriend recalled that Papini took a nap and slept for most of the drive. During the period of her disappearance, Papini never left ex-boyfriend's residence. Papini asked boyfriend to pick up clothes for her to wear. Ex-boyfriend purchased sweats, socks, and t-shirts from Target, TJ Maxx, or Ross, wherever he was closest. So yeah, documents obtained during the investigation confirmed that person 3 rented a silver Dodge Challenger from Fox Rent Car on October 31st, and it was returned November 4th. Okay. Hold on a second. On the date of her disappearance, Papini's cell phone was found near the intersection of Old Oregon Trail and Sunrise Drive. So remember, he said the road was called Old something. So, all right. So where were we at? So the cell phone was found near the, all right, no. Wherever he was closest to on his way home from work. Oh yeah, about buying her clothes. Okay. Ex-boyfriend said he did not buy much clothing for Papini and bought grays, darks, basics, whatever they had. Ex-boyfriend continued to go to work every day while Papini stayed at the residence. Ex-boyfriend slept on the couch in the living room and Papini had her own room. Ex-boyfriend lived in a 2-bedroom apartment and Papini selected the room she wanted to stay in. Ex-boyfriend believed Papini purposefully selected the room with less exposure. But wait, why did he sleep on the couch then? If there was 2 bedrooms, I don't know. Ex-boyfriend told investigators that it might sound bland, but they really just talked. They really just talked, hung out, and ate food, but they did not go anywhere. Papini cleaned the house a couple of times and did whatever she thought she needed and that she was feeling for herself. And that she was feeling for herself, she was in her own thing. Papini had a lot of private time and just wanted to be in the room with the door shut. Ex-boyfriend was not there most of the time. The closet of the room ex-boyfriend described as Papini's room looked very similar to the closet Papini described in her previous interviews with law enforcement. It included a pool as described by Papini. Wow, that's how she had all the details and why she could keep them consistent. I mean, it's smart if you're going to lie, so then when you're repeating it, because that part's the truth, of the description and stuff, right? Yeah, exactly. Good point. Yep. Ruthless. Yeah, they just talked. Well, what about the sperm? Liar, liar. And the DNA was on her underwear, right? All right. So where are we at? During the interview with ex-boyfriend, investigators asked him if Papini did anything with the window in the room she stayed in at the house. Ex-boyfriend told investigators there were boards over the window so she couldn't see. There was no light coming in and she wanted it to be dark. Ex-boyfriend said she put the boards over the window because Papini asked him to and stated, she asked me if there was a way to seal the window up. Wow. Or he put the boards over the window. Sorry, I said she. Okay. So ex-boyfriend described the wood he used to cover the windows as 3 sheets of particle board or press board. Ex-boyfriend showed investigators that there was no other reason to board up the window because no neighbors or people from the outside could see into the window. Papini had stayed with ex-boyfriend for a couple days when she asked him to put boards over the window. Okay. So then the little side note says, when Papini was interviewed on November 28th, 2016, she stated the cable was affixed to a pool that went into the ceiling and described the pool as a big screw. This matched the pool in the closet of the room, Papini stated, in an ex-boyfriend's residence. Yeah, and then Papini described the window in the room she was held captive in as having been covered with boards. So they're just little side notes. No, why do you have a headache? Eye cross? Because of this lie? I know this crazy story. Okay, so ex-boyfriend believed Papini was purposefully trying to lose weight while she was staying with him. Papini ate whatever ex-boyfriend bought, but would eat small portions. Ex-boyfriend stated she was not eating as much as she would. She would just minimize what she was eating. Both ex-boyfriend and Papini made food for them to eat. But Papini would, for example, eat a half of a banana instead of a whole banana. Ex-boyfriend said that Papini was already tiny, but she wanted to lose weight and he did not question her on it. But he had to see this all over the news, right? Like, so he's like an accomplice or I don't even know what you would call that in this situation, but I wonder if he's being charged. Let's see what it says. Investigators asked ex-boyfriend what happened with Papini's hair. Ex-boyfriend told him that she chopped that. Ex-boyfriend came home from work one day and Papini had cut her hair. Ex-boyfriend could not remember what Papini did with her hair she cut off and did not know if she had thrown it in the trash. Ex-boyfriend, I'm just going to say ex instead of ex-boyfriend. Well, I don't know. Ex recalled that Papini cut her hair within a few days of coming to stay with him. Ex believed that cutting her hair was one of the first things Papini did while she was staying with him. Ex knew about the injuries Papini had when she was discovered. Ex explained that Papini created the injuries while staying with him, including hitting herself to create bruises and burning herself on her arms. Ex said he helped her create some of the injuries, although he never laid his hands directly on her. For example, she told him, "Bank a puck off my leg." So she shot a puck off her leg lightly. So he shot a puck off her leg lightly. Ex did not help Papini burn her arm and said that was self-inflicted. I didn't burn anything on her arm there. I didn't burn anything on her arm there. Yeah. Ex admitted to investigators he was confused by Papini injuring herself and stated, "There's not too many people that come up and say, 'Hurt me.' I'm not physical ever with women. I mean, I just don't." Papini did not start creating injuries on herself until close to the time she was deciding to leave ex-boyfriend. It's hard to not say the whole thing now because I see it. So I might just might as well say it. Okay, so ex-boyfriend, she was deciding to leave ex-boyfriend and go back home. Ex-boyfriend believed Papini had initially planned to stay with him for a longer period of time. Ex described to investigators how Papini asked him to brand her. Papini told Ex to purchase a wood-burning tool from Hobby Lobby. Oh, look, it says the details of Papini's injuries were not told to the public. So all those specifics were not told. So obviously, he was there. Okay, so told X to purchase a wood-burning tool. The nearest Hobby Lobby was in Huntington Beach. So X drove to the Hobby Lobby in Huntington Beach and bought the tool. By this time, Papini was aware of the news stories about her disappearance and did not want people to see her. X clarified that he and Papini did not watch television because he did not have a television at the time. But Papini had a cell phone she used to read the news. Papini did not go with X to Hobby Lobby because she never left the house during the time she stayed with him. X told investigators he used cash to purchase the wood-burning tool. X described the wood-burning tool as a small plug-in tool similar in size to an electric toothbrush. Okay. The letters snapped into the top of it, and then the rod heated up like smoldering iron. X believed the letters were made of brass. When X returned to the wood-burning tool, he and Papini sat on the floor next to an electrical outlet so they could plug the tool in and into the outlet. X sat behind Papini, and Papini pulled her shirt up so that X could use the tool to make the brand. I thought he said he didn't burn her. Oh, he didn't burn the arm. Okay. Papini told X the phrase that she wanted burned into her skin. X couldn't remember the phrase, but it had meaning to Papini. X recalled that he branded Papini's right shoulder using the wood burning tool. X recalled it was Papini's right shoulder because he was left-handed and he used his right hand to hold Papini's right arm and rested his left hand on her back so as to hold the tool steady. X said he was nervous and wanted to hold steady while doing the brand because the tool was so hot it glowed red. X wanted to do a good job and to make the brand straight, but knew it must be painful and did not want to hold the hot brand on Papini's skin for too long. X was worried the branded area would get infected, but Papini never really complained about the pain. X believed he purchased some burn cream for Papini to use on her brand and burn wounds. When asked whether she took off her shirt for the branding, X explained she did, but that she was not generally walking around naked. Although he knew about her breast implants and that she was having issues with them. X recalled that Papini asked him to put the brand on her within the first week she was with him. And then this little note, the details of the branding on Papini's right shoulder were not made known to the public. So X had wanted to keep the wood burning tool and thought he might use it to work on wood or something. But Papini told him to throw it away, and he did. Let me see. Maybe I should read the note now because it says 22. Ex-boyfriend later went with investigators to Hobby Lobby and showed them the type of tool he purchased and the lettering used with the tool. The lettering appeared to match the letters that were branded on Papini's right shoulder when she was discovered. Okay. So X described how Papini got some type of rash at one point on her arms. X did not know what to do, so he went to the store and bought all the different creams for rashes. Papini had given him a list, and he just picked up whatever, and he grabbed extra ones. Papini wanted to scrub the stains out of X's carpet and asked X to go to Walmart and buy cleaning supplies. Papini had been scrubbing the floor and ended up having hives on her arms. X did not know what caused the rash or what she was allergic to. X believed Papini got the rash pretty early on when she was staying with him. Even though X bought ointment for her to use, Papini continued to have the rash rest of the time she stayed with him. Okay, so X explained that he and Papini had been in a previous romantic relationship that ended approximately in 2006. X said that he wasn't sure of Papini's intentions during her stay with him, but he believed they might end up in a romantic relationship. X stated that he did not know how long Papini planned to be away from her family or what the final plan was, and whether that included them getting back together. He said that during their prior relationship, they were in love at a time, but that was young love. X stated that he and Papini did not have sex while she stayed with him and said it was not a sexual thing. Well, then where'd the sperm come from? Ginger. Hey, Ginger. Judy. Just want to check in with you guys. Hey, Christopher. She's allergic to the truth. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, she is. Darcy, Gwendolyn in the house. Okay, so shortly before Thanksgiving, Papini asked X to take her back to Reading. Papini said she missed her children and wanted to go home. She told X, I'm ready to go. X asked his friend, person 3, to rent a car for him again, which X used to drive Papini back home. X believed he and Papini left late in the evening the day before Thanksgiving or very early in the morning. Okay, so Thanksgiving Day, very early in the morning on Thanksgiving Day, and drove straight through without stopping towards Reading. Papini stayed in the back seat of the rental car for the entire length of the trip, which took approximately 7 hours. X said he did not drop off Papini on the side of I-5, but on the road off the freeway. X described the road as a country road alongside orchard. The road was dark with no lights and was pretty barren in that area. X drove back to Orange County and attended Thanksgiving dinner at his aunt's house in San Pedro at approximately 11 a.m. or 12 p.m. X returned the rental car the next day. Let's see the note. 23. Documents obtained during the investigation confirmed that person 3 rented a white Mitsubishi Outlander from Enterprise Rent-A-Car on November 23rd at approximately 8:02 a.m. and it was returned November 25th at approximately 7 a.m. And the rental car had been driven approximately 927 miles during the period it was rented. This is just over the approximate round trip distance between X's residence in Woodland, California, where Papini was found. So everything is matching up. Okay. X said that Papini had stuff in a bag with her when they drove back to Redding. Papini used these items to bind her own wrists and ankles, including a chain that he likely purchased for her. Additionally, X stated that Papini brought a prepaid phone with her, which she tossed out of the car as they drove back to Redding. X described the phone Papini brought with her as a black smartphone, such as an Apple iPhone or Samsung phone. Before Papini left X's residence, she bagged up anything that could be traced to her and threw the bag of her belongings in the dumpster outside X's residence. X told investigators that his cousin and cousin's spouse, person 4, knew Papini was staying with him. Wow, he just implicated them now, huh? X told cousin that Papini was going to come stay with him before X went and picked Papini up. One night, so wait, it was a cousin spouse. Okay. One night when cousin had been drinking, cousin tried to come into X's house through the back door, and X had to remind cousin that Papini was there and that cousin could not come over. X also said that he told his mother that Papini was staying with him, but she did not know the details. X explained that his mother became concerned and called X after she started to see the news stories about Papini's disappearance. X described himself as being rattled by his experience with Papini and was concerned about what his involvement with her meant for him. At the time Papini was with him, he believed he was helping out a friend. It did not occur to him that he could get in trouble until he started seeing the news stories regarding Papini's disappearance and her allegations that she had been kidnapped. X said once it hit, like, you see everything on the news, but then when it starts getting to the bigger, all right, we're dedicating 2020 to Papini's disappearance. X was surprised by the news stories and told investigators that at one point he thought to himself, I'm not going to make any calls because it's like I'm turning myself in for nothing. X said he figured if the truth was discovered about Papini's disappearance, law enforcement would come to him and he would not fight it. X did not know there were money rewards for Papini's return until long after Papini left. Investigators asked X if he had spoken to Papini since he drove her back to Redding, and X stated, I haven't talked to her since then. Hey, Mayflower. Don Arnold. It's pretty interesting. I mean, she is something else, man. Okay. So this is independent evidence corroborating X's ex-boyfriend's interview. During his interview, X provided details to investigators about Papini's injuries that were not known to the public, which tended to indicate that he did have firsthand knowledge related to Papini's disappearance. And they are also able to corroborate his account in additional ways. That you have the telephone records that using their known phone numbers approximately 29 times from December 15th to March 2016. His work schedule showed him off work on November 1st and 2nd, which were not his normal days off. This matches the dates that he drove to pick her up. The rental car receipts show that person 3, as ex-boyfriend described in his interview, rented a silver Dodge Challenger. And then the rental car was returned on November 4th. And then also the one they rented to drop her back off. The table. So it's all stuff we just went through with the table and the that she described. In an interview in 2017, Panini described the room where she was held and sketched the closet, which matched the appearance in the bedroom of the ex-boyfriend's residence. According to the records from Pinterest on or before November 6th, Papini pinned photographs of wood-burning tools to a secret board titled Gift Ideas. Oh my God. And the whole phones, toll records identified. The prepaid number. Okay. Yeah, this is about the phone stuff that matches up. Obtained cell tower records on November 2nd, the day of Papini's disappearance. And the cell tower that was closest to Papini's residence and the location of her disappearance revealed that both phone 1 and 2 connected to that same tower. Okay, so As discussed in more detail below, the investigators interviewed Papini on August 13th, 2020, shortly after they spoke to the ex-boyfriend. Toll records indicate that Papini reached out to ex-boyfriend in the months after that interview. So she finds out they spoke to him, and so then she reaches out to him. Let's see what she said or what happened. Okay. September 18th, 2020, phone number resolved to a business owned by Papini's parents, called ex-boyfriend's phone number. So this is in 2020. Called the phone number 4 times. This same phone number also called ex-boyfriend's phone number 2 times 4 days later. On October 3, 2020, a phone number that AT&T records listed as registered to Papini's home address called ex-boyfriend's known phone number 4 times. So August 2020, interviewed person 4, cousin's spouse. Person 4 and cousins lived across the street from ex-boyfriend in 2016 during the time of Papini's alleged abduction. Person 4 admitted to the investigators that person 4 knew Papini stayed with the ex during the time when she was missing, and the ex told person 4 that Papini had a bad relationship with her husband and was trying to get away. However, person 4 did not see Papini when she stayed with an ex-boyfriend, but person 4 said the ex kept it locked up, and person 4 did not go over to ex's house while Papini was there. Person 4 and cousin hardly saw ex while Papini was staying with him, which was not normal behavior for ex. Ex normally would come over to person 4 and cousin's house to see their kids and play hockey with them. Once Papini left, ex started coming back over. And then they interviewed the cousin, told detectives that approximately a week prior to Papini's disappearance, ex told a cousin that Papini was in an abusive relationship, and law enforcement was not investigating the alleged abuse incidents. Yeah, same stuff where you remember he told him not to come over. And then when he did end up coming over and entered through the back door, and the cousin saw Papini in the living room before she ran into a rear bedroom. And cousin told the detectives that ex said that Papini was hurting herself. Ex told cousin that Papini asked ex to punch her in the face, but ex refused to do so. Ex told cousin that Papini cut her hair and had purposely hit her head on the bathtub and bathroom floor. So Papini's continued lies upon confrontation. On August 13th, 2020, the detective interviewed Papini. Husband sat in on the interview. The interview was recorded and transcribed in its entirety. At the beginning of the interview, investigators stated, "All we want is truthful statements because it's a crime to lie to federal officers." Understood? Papini nodded her head in agreement. Papini nevertheless continued to make false statements regarding her supposed abduction. So this is after the other stuff, right? Wait, that's all good. Yeah. So, I mean, so this is after the interview with the ex and the interview with the cousins. So they already know the truth. And then she's continuing to lie, which this is one of the charges that's getting her in some trouble here. So investigators asked Papini if she could detail the differences in her 2 abductors. And Papini stated falsely, "The younger one is the one that let me go and was the nicer one. The older one was really abusive and really mean and is the one that did all the really terrible things." Investigators presented Papini with a picture of the coffee table Papini had previously provided as the type of coffee table on which she was branded, and asked Papini if she remembered the coffee table. Papini responded, "Yes, I do. I remember that." Investigators showed Papini the picture of the similar coffee table found on an ex-boyfriend's Facebook page. Okay, and Papini stated, "It's been a really long time, so like details and things like that, we did the best that we could to take notes on it and all that, but a lot of it's really hard." Investigators show Papini a photograph lineup of Hispanic women, none of whom Papini recognized as her abductors. And then they showed her a series of photographs from her ex-boyfriend's residence, and she falsely denied it was the location she was at when she was missing. Investigators show Papini a picture of the closet in the ex-boyfriend's house with the pool through the shelving, and the picture that Papini drew of the closet with the pool in the previous interviews with law enforcement. And Papini responded, "It's a little bit different, but it's pretty good. It's pretty, excuse my language, it's pretty effing similar. But it's different. It didn't look like that. It didn't look like that." Investigators showed Papini a photograph of the window in the room of the ex-boyfriend, described as Papini's room. Papini responded, I feel like this wood paneling is too thick. I remember it going all the way up to the window, is what I'm having trouble remembering. Investigators showed Papini a photograph of the bathroom at X's residence, which matched the layout Papini had previously described to law enforcement. Papini responded, I mean, this doesn't look like the bathroom to me, but the order is, yes, this is the type of the order, but this is not what it looked like to me. There was a tile in the top. There was a crack. Investigators showed Papini a photograph of the tile in ex-boyfriend's bathroom where it was cracked. Papini stated, I don't know. Investigators asked Papini if she remembered what she previously said about a screw she used to drill through the drywall in the closet while she was abducted. Papini stated, I dug a hole into the wall and poked it into the wall. Investigators showed Papini a photograph of the hole in the closet of ex-boyfriend's house. Well, all these little details are just all from, And Papini stated, it was into drywall, but no. Oh my God. This girl nuts. How y'all doing? Hanging in there? Hey, Melinda Freedom, Dana Marie, Ginger, Scooby-Doo Detective. Hey, Matt. LB. Oh my God, her and Lori would be BFF. Yeah. Oh, good. They would. They're both the same amount of crazy, huh? Hey, Mez. Linda. Hannah, what's up? Okay, we're almost done, guys. So let's get through this, then we could chat a little bit. Okay, so where are we at? Oh, yeah, when she said no. Investigators then explained that they were showing Papini the photographs of the house that they had discovered she had been staying at, and they had spoken to the family who knew that she was there. Papini responded, oh my God. Wait, what? Oh my God. So wait. She just responded, oh my God. Investigators asked Papini if she wanted husband to stay in the room. After some thought, Papini asked if she and husband could talk, so the investigators left the room. When investigators came back into the interview room, they asked Papini if she wanted husband in the room, but she would not answer. So investigators continued with the interview and said, the only way to control things is for us to know. Papini replied, I know. I don't want you to find her. She's the reason that I get to see my children every day. What? Okay, so she's the reason I get to see my children every day. Investigators responded, we agree. Wait, what? I'm not following this now, you guys. Hold on. So they asked Papini if she wanted her husband in the room. And so investigators continue with the interview and said, the only way to control things is for us to know. Papini replied, I know. I don't want you to find her. She's the reason I get to see my children every day. Investigators responded, we agree, but we're not going to find her. Papini stated, I don't want to get her in trouble. Investigators then told Papini that the DNA evidence found on her clothing at the time of her reappearance belonged to ex-boyfriend, and that Papini was not abducted, but had asked ex-boyfriend to pick her up. Papini responded, no. When investigators asked if that's not what happened, what did happen? Papini answered, I don't know. No, there's no way it's ex-boyfriend. There's no way. There's no way. Investigators asked Papini why she was saying it was not her ex-boyfriend. And she replied, because he loves me. We were friends. There's no way. When investigators directly asked whether ex-boyfriend came and got you because you asked him, Papini replied falsely, no. When asked when was the last time Papini had contact with ex-boyfriend, Papini said falsely that it was before her abduction. Papini was asked when she last saw ex-boyfriend. Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, they asked it again. Okay, I thought I just accidentally read the same thing twice, but okay. So they asked her twice. Wait. When asked if Papini had contact with her ex-boyfriend. Okay, so when asked when was the last time Papini had contact with ex-boyfriend, Papini said falsely that it was before her abduction. Papini was asked when she last saw ex-boyfriend, and she replied, I don't know. forever ago when I lived in Southern California. Investigators asked, you are saying since you have been married, you haven't called your ex-boyfriend? And Papini responded falsely, no, I haven't called ex-boyfriend. Investigators explained that that phone records and DNA evidence showed that Papini had been in contact with ex-boyfriend and again told Papini lying to federal agents is a crime. Investigators explained that ex-boyfriend provided details no one else would know. While husband was still in the interview room, Papini continued to deny that she ran away with ex-boyfriend. Once husband left the room, Papini admitted that she and ex-boyfriend did talk a little bit before and said, when I went out of town for work, I talked with other guys. Wait, hold on. Man, this fan's, I'm sorry, this fan keeps blowing my hair into my face and it's itching. Okay, so don't lie, please. Yeah, right. She's such a liar. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, her husband leaves. She does. Then that's when she admits that that they did talk a little bit and said, when I went out of town for work, I talked with other guys. I made a mistake and I talked to other men and I shouldn't have. When investigators asked Papini how she was talking to ex-boyfriend, she responded, my work cell phone. Papini continued to say she made a mistake for talking to other guys and said, I am horrible. Ultimately, Papini continued to state it can't be ex-boyfriend and did not provide any further information to investigators about her time with ex-boyfriend in Southern California. Investigators asked, you were pretty clear earlier when I asked what did the younger one do. You said the younger one pointed a gun at you. And Papini responded falsely, she was there and she let me go. Investigators stated, did a woman point a gun at you and put you in the car? Yes or no? And Papini responded, I don't remember. Investigators continued to ask Papini what happened with ex-boyfriend. And Papini stated, you know who she is. I know you do. I know you know who she is. I am not saying it. I don't want her to get in trouble. I know you know who she is. Papini did not at any point throughout the interview disavow her repeated statements that two Hispanic women kidnapped her, nor did she ever admit that ex-boyfriend had picked her up and that she had resided at ex-boyfriend's home during the period that she was reported missing. So I think the reason she keeps saying, you know who she is, because remember her story was it was somebody in law enforcement. They're in on it. That's who, you know, that they're the ones that did this. Or they're the ones that are having us do this. So that's why I think she's saying, you know who it is, playing that whole, like this whole story that she's made up. Okay, so crowdsourced money meant to bring her home used to pay off credit cards. So on November 4th, 2016, a friend of husband's created a GoFundMe campaign called Help Find Sherri Papini, hereinafter referred to as a GoFundMe campaign, with the following stated purpose: please help us in raising money to bring Sherri home safe. All funds will go directly to Papini family and will be used to search efforts to find Sherri and to help bring her home safely. Every dollar counts as time is critical. Thanks. On the same date, in response to a donor's question as to how the funds would be used, a campaign update was made to the GoFundMe campaign. Thank you to everyone who has donated so far today. The funds will be used in any means necessary for the family to bring Sherri home. Wonder how much they got. I'm sure it'll say. Okay, so where are we at? Let's scroll up. On the GoFundMe campaign page under the heading of organizer and beneficiary, husband was listed as the organizer, and a member of husband's family was listed as a beneficiary. On November 7th, 2016, a campaign update was written on the GoFundMe's campaign page by husband. So this is November 2nd. Okay. No, wow. Wait. Oh, okay. This is just a few days after she was abducted. So, or that she left. So yeah, there was written up a GoFundMe campaigns page, husband organizer of Falls. Thank you all so much for your donations. I'm very happy that the Papini family asked me to help get this GoFundMe account established. Your generosity, concern, and prayers are very much appreciated by the Papini family. In total, the GoFundMe campaign raised approximately $49,070. Wow. GoFundMe used a third-party service called WePay that was administered by JP Morgan Chase Bank. In essence, the GoFundMe campaign beneficiary was able to withdraw funds from the GoFundMe campaign through a bank account set up through WePay and JP Morgan Chase. Husband was a check signer on the JP Morgan Chase bank account used to withdraw the GoFundMe campaign accounts. On December 6, 2016, after Papini was recovered, husband wrote check number 101 in the amount of $31,818.13 from the GoFundMe campaign bank account at JP Morgan Chase Bank to himself. Husband then signed the check, endorsed the check, and deposited it into his personal bank account via a mobile deposit on the same date. On December 6th, husband wrote a check number 103 in the amount of $1,160.06 from the GoFundMe campaign bank account. Let's see. Husband signed the check. Papini endorsed the check and deposited the check into her personal bank account. So that went to her account. Husband used approximately $8,212 of the GoFundMe campaign funds to make payments towards his personal credit cards. On December 13th, Papini spent approximately $3,053 to pay off her personal credit card. The remaining amount of the funds that husband withdrew from the GoFundMe campaign was transferred into husband's and Papini's personal bank accounts and were spent on personal expenses. Papini fraudulently obtained thousands in victim assistance. On November 28th, Papini applied to the California Victim Compensation Board for assistance. They provided financial assistance to the victims of violent crimes. In application, a series of questions were asked to determine the eligibility of the victim. And the questions and responses in Papini's application were as follows. Summary of incident. Sherri was running in the neighborhood when two suspects produced handguns and ordered her into the vehicle. The suspects then held her captive for 22 days before releasing her. Did the victim reasonably try to avoid or stop the events that resulted in his or her injuries or death? She attempted to escape several times. Did the victim reasonably cooperate in the investigation and prosecution? She has fully cooperated with the investigation. If there was no arrest and or prosecution for purposes of determining eligibility, in your professional opinion, is it more likely than not that the crime occurred? Did the victim reasonably cooperate in the investigation and prosecution? Oh, she has fully cooperated with the investigation. If there was no arrest or prosecution for purposes of determining eligibility, in your professional opinion, is it more likely than not that the crime occurred? We have not located or identified the suspects. The application further stated, for the victim of the crime, the following benefits may be available. Please check the crime-related expenses you are requesting. The boxes for medical or dental expenses, moving or relocation expenses, mental health treatment, and home security improvements were all checked. Okay. Papini signed the application November 28th under penalty or perjury. Above her signature were the statements. As required by California law, I will contact and repay California Victim Compensation Program if I or anyone on my behalf receives any payments for losses suffered as a direct result of the crime that was the basis for receipts of benefits from. Wait, I will contact and repay the California if I or anyone on my behalf receives any payments for losses suffered as a. Okay, so any monies I receive from the victims, what's it called again? The California Victim Compensation Program for moving relocation expenses, improving home security will be used only for those purposes. Okay, I see what they're saying. I declare under penalty and perjury under the laws of the state of California that all the information I provided is true, correct, and complete to the best of my knowledge and belief. So that's a lie. I understand that I may be found to be ineligible for benefits and that the action may be taken to recover benefits I receive if I provide information that is false, intentionally incomplete, or misleading. In addition to signing the application, to the Office of District Attorney Shasta County required Papini sign a declaration of understanding of application and expenses. I have been informed by a crime victim's assistance that all decisions pertaining to eligibility and payments expenses are determined by a claims department. So this is the declaration. Once the application is received, it may take 180 days to determine. Okay, so that's what she signed. That she had to sign. So yeah, this is just all the paperwork she So they limited the number of mental health sessions that could be reimbursed per application based on claimant's filing status. Let's see. Okay. If the claimant reached or was within 8 sessions of their mental health session limit, an additional treatment plan was required to be submitted and approved before sessions exceeding the limit could be considered for reimbursement. Papini's therapist submitted multiple additional treatment plans via fax. In these plans, Papini's therapist diagnosed her with acute post-traumatic stress disorder and stated specifically that Papini had been kidnapped at gunpoint, held hostage for 22 days, and physically and emotionally tortured, beaten, burned, branded, and drugged. The additional treatment plans also stated that the following to explain why additional treatment was needed. Due to the dramatic nature of the crime and the fact that the client has had multiple interviews with law enforcement agencies, the trauma has been reactivated on multiple occasions. That one of the greatest factors affecting this client's treatment include the fact that her captors have not been located. Based on these submissions by Papini's therapist, they approved the additional mental health treatments be covered for Papini's fraudulent PTSD on 7 separate occasions. Wow. So the payment requests for financial assistance were made by claimants and approved by the California Victims Compensation Board. I keep having to think what that stands for. Okay, so anyway, we see the Victims Assistant Program detailed statements mailed to Papini's home. These letters stated, "Dear Sherri, we have reviewed the bills or payments requests you submitted. Some or all of the losses you had as a result of the crime are covered by our program. The attached payment summary explains what we were able to pay. For medical and mental health bills, we pay at set rates. When any of our providers cash our checks to them, this means that they accept our payment on the crime-related portion of your bills as payment in full." So here's the list of it, what they paid. So from 2017 to 2021, Papini's request for victims assistance funding caused approximately 35 payments totaling over $30,000 to issue by mail, including to her therapist and ambulance provider transported her after her return to on Thanksgiving. Okay. On 1/12, payment to Papini to purchase blinds for her home, $1,000. 4/26, payment to the ambulance provider who transported Papini after her return, $901. Payment to Papini's therapist and treatment for anxiety and PTSD from her purported kidnapping, $81. To her therapist for treatment for anxiety and PTSD, $2,997. Ambulance provider, $1,084. Treatment for anxiety, treatment. These are all for her therapist. And I mean, that's false because she doesn't have PTSD. She wasn't kidnapped, so that's all a lie. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Look, these are all therapy. Okay, so mail fraud on or about the date listed below. Papini did knowingly cause to be deposited and did knowingly cause to be delivered a matter and thing to be sent and delivered by the U.S. mail. And let's see, payment of, so this is the mail matter, payment of $2,997 to Papini's therapist and treatment anxiety of PTSD. Based on the foregoing, there is probable cause to believe Papini violated Title blah, 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 United States Code. I further request that the court order that all papers in support of this application, including the affidavit, be sealed until further order of the court arrest. These documents discuss ongoing criminal investigation. Okay. So I'm confused though. For the mail fraud, it's just because this was the mail matter. Okay, so it was delivered and then, wow, because that holds the higher jail time. Would they say 20 years that she could get for the mail fraud? Wow. So you guys, that's it, man. Very interesting. Thanks for hanging in there this whole time. You guys are troopers. Interesting stuff though. I'm glad. That's bullcrap. She shouldn't have got, no way. She should have got away with that. It's horrible that she did that. Let me just catch up on chat real quick, and then I'm going to go eat some dinner so we can get ready for my next live, guys. So remember, I'm going to try to do that giveaway. Hopefully it works. And for some reason, if this, because StreamYards has that new thing, and I haven't tried it yet, so hopefully it all works the way it's supposed to. For some reason it doesn't, then I'll end up doing one of those forms. So either way, there's going to be a giveaway. But just in a little bit, keep checking the community tab, because I'm going to put the word that you have to type in my next live to be entered. And give me like, it's 7, maybe like an hour or something. We'll do it the next live. It'll be, we're gonna kind of go through the new NK. It's not a new interview. We all heard the audio, but the video got released. So we're gonna kind of go through it, like kind of a reaction video, talk about it as we're watching it, and just watch it together. Oh, thank you, Anonymous. Wait, where's the... I'm trying to find it so I could put it up. Hold on. Where is it? It says Zach knows the score, but it's Zav, right? I'm sure. Hold on. Wow, I'm so... This chat, I can't get to the bottom of it because it's like the whole chat. Hold on, I'm trying, Anonymous, but thank you. I see it. I'm just trying to get to it so I could put it up on the screen. Oh wait, I'm gonna go get Zeke. Is Mystery Maverick still here? Are you here, Mystery? I'm gonna go get Zeke since it's early before his bed. Oh, I hope he's not in bed. I meant to do it earlier at the beginning because I'm gonna go see. I'm trying to get to your thing so I can put it up. There we go. Thank you, Anonymous. And thank you, Doohickey. Thank you guys for the super chats. Okay, I'm gonna go get Zeke real quick so you guys could see him. Because I have to take advantage when I do a little bit earlier lives, because if I do him past like 7 or 8, he's already in bed. And if you guys don't know the story, my grandma's been very possessive, and she like yells at me and goes a little crazy when I take him if he's sleeping. So I have to try to get him before. So let me go grab him real quick, and then I'm gonna go eat after that. But hold on one second, guys. Yay, my Zeekster's here. Look, he has green in his harness, so it looks cool. You're part of this. So anybody that's new that hasn't met Zeke, this is my doggy Zeke. Zeke, his name's Zeke, but I call him the Zeekster. He's my Zeekster. I love him very much. I love him very much. He's a very cuddly boy. He goes to bed very early because Grandma makes him. I miss him staying up a little bit late, but he's about to go to bed. Oh. So he was sitting downstairs with my grandma on the couch, and I grabbed him, and she's like, "How long are you gonna be?" Because she's about ready to go to bed. Someone said she kind of got mad. She's like, "How long are you gonna have him?" I'm like, "Just a couple minutes, Grandma. Chill out." I miss him. What's wrong? Wait, why do you make a little grunt? Why do you make a little grunt? You don't think he likes all these lights? I have like a bunch of lights because I need so many lights to light up the green screen. Because you have to have any shadow on the green screen, it'll make it like fuzzy. So you have to be able to like light up every part of the green screen. So I needed a bunch of different lights in different spots to light up all the spots. So I think when I have him on, it makes him uncomfortable. That's why he doesn't like to stay up here very long. I love you so much. Say hi. Say hi. See, hi. Isn't he the most cutest little boy ever? My boy. I love him so much. I love him so much. Yes, I do. I know. You want to get down. You don't like all these lights. But I missed you, buddy. I missed you. But thanks, guys. So, yeah, come back in about an hour. Probably like 8 or around 8. We'll start the MK after I eat. And get that giveaway thing ready. But thanks for comment, everybody, and all the super chats. You guys are awesome. Sorry, he's addicting. I can't get enough of him. I don't get to hang out with him as much because my grandma is very possessive. Hold on, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go open my door. All right, guys. I will see you in a little bit, okay? Thanks, everybody. I'm so hungry. I know, isn't he the best? Is Mystery Matt what you got? Good. I was hoping you were still here because I know you've been wanting to see him. I know, yes. I'm working on one what Bella's got me for Christmas, that picture. I'm working on getting it away where I could have that in the background. Look how, like, since it's a green screen, you see like a outline kind of in a way. Kinda. I don't know. But anyway, all right, guys. See you. Like I said, come back at 8. We're gonna watch NK's interview and just talk about it as we watch it. So even you guys that already seen it, come back and still watch it again because I'm gonna stop it and we can kind of like discuss different things as we watch it. So all right, guys, see you in a little bit. Members, don't forget to look at the community post. And it's not like when I start the live, you could always go look at it then and then look at what the word is. But all right, guys, bye, everybody. See you in a few.